Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing blue-black Death Shadow. Death Shadow is a 1-mana 13/13 creature that gets -X, where X is your life total. Well, we're going to actively reduce our life total with this deck. We are going to be Thoughtseizing. We are going to be grabbing Watery Graves instead of Underground Seas in some situations. And we're going to be using this card, which is extremely powerful against a lot of the meta right now, Snuff Out. Most of the meta, at least post-ban, has moved away from black creatures. So Snuff Out is essentially like a free removal spell. And you pay for life, yes, but that actively helps us toward our Death Shadow plan. Also helping us is the Troll Reanimate package. Reanimate is a great card, even if you're not in a Reanimator shell. You can just put this into your graveyard turn 1, go get a swamp, and then turn 2, Reanimate with Daze mana to pay as well. Speaking of Daze, we are a tempo deck, so we have 4 Dazes, 4 Wastelands, and we have these 4 Thoughtseize that just shred our opponent's hand. So combined with Force, we are literally the worst nightmare of a combo deck. Historically, Death Shadow has been the worst matchup for like Storm and decks like that. And I'm hoping that that will hold true here in 2025. Nobody is playing Death Shadow anymore because Death Shadow is kind of outclassed as a threat, in my humble opinion. You've already got lots of other cards that do a good job like Murktide, but we're going to try it. We're going to try this archetype. I'm not expecting to win a whole lot, but I am expecting to have fun and to just beat people down with giant Death Shadow. So don't expect like a 5-0 like I did with Ninjas the other day. Like, this is probably going to be a little bit more dicey, but I am excited about parking Baleful Strix on the front line and just holding back attackers as we gradually reduce our life total in a controlled fashion and ramp out Death Shadow. One card that I'm afraid of, in addition to Chalice of the Void, is Swords to Plowshares. It's called Swords to Plague Wind against your deck, because if they plow like your troll and you have a Death Shadow out, your Death Shadow is probably going bye-bye too. Or if you have 2 Death Shadows out and they plow one, boom, Death Shadow goes bye-bye. So this is a very brittle deck, but it is extremely explosive and it can kill very quickly. Let's take a look at the sideboard. 4, Consign to Memory. 3, Hydroblast. This is very important for Moonstompy, which is everywhere right now, and Eldrazi, which is everywhere. Then we've got a Force of Negation for Oops and other turn 0 combo decks. We've got 3 Surgical Extractions. These play into our paying life game in terms of lowering our life total, and they pair very well with Thoughtseize, where we can sometimes get like basically a 2-for-2 Thoughtseize, and then Surgical, the duplicate copy out of their hand. We have 2 Kaito, which is just an insane card. If you watch my Ninja video, this card is probably the best Planeswalker they've printed since Teferi. I mean, it's just nuts. So I am going to definitely be bringing this in against any more fair matchup. We've got a single Dismember, which is just additional good removal. This is really good against Magus of the Moon, which you can see on full display, I think, in the Ninjas video. And we have a single Engineered Explosive, which is good against Constructs, and it can importantly potentially remove a Chalice of the Void, which, because our curve is so low, Chalice is absolutely brutal to us. The other thing that is a little bit of a concern is we're down to 21 blue cards in the deck. We have a lot more post board, but in game 1, we may be struggling to successfully force our opponent's cards. So, and we're also very land light. We have 17 lands, but with these trolls, these are kind of virtual. I consider them 0.5 land. We do have to mull a lot more than a typical 19 land deck, but I think we'll probably be okay. We'll see. So as always, we're going to play a full 4 rounds. Leave comments with timestamps if you have feedback on my play. If you're an experienced Death Shadow player and you see me making amateur mistakes, let me know. I want to get better, and so do all the other people who read the comments. See you in round 1. Round 1, we're back with a definite mulligan. Let's see what Punisher with a V is up to. Our opponent is a likely Painter player, which actually isn't that bad, since almost all our threats are black rather than blue. This is a hand we can keep. It's not a great hand. I'm going to keep it, though. I'm going to put back the Watery Grave. We may draw a card to pair with Force. I don't expect them to be wasting us if they're Punisher. Or if they're Punisher, if they're Painter. Okay, they're not on Painter. They are on Grixis. Well, this is actually a very tricky matchup because they have bolts and stuff like that. I was hoping to dodge this. Okay, and they've got the strong start with the Mishra's Bauble. All right, they are bobbling us and probably seeing that we're on Death Shadow, depending on what we reveal here. And if they realize we're on Death Shadow, they're probably cackling in joy and delight. Okay, we got a troll. I think we go for the troll reanimate. It's risky for sure. This is going to be a game where we go get basic swamp. You might be wondering, why am I doing this now instead of waiting? It's because they already know what's in our hand. If they want to waste our wasteland, that's fine with me. All right. Oh, lightning bolt. Yep, that's actually actively helping us currently. But if this gets delirious, it's not going to be helping us anymore. Huh. Can we race with a flipped troll? I'm not sure that we can if they get delirious. They do have the basic island. Okay. So they're just hitting for 1 here. I think we do go for the troll because we're going to be at 16. They're going to be likely on a 3-turn clock, but we're not going to be able to use the Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is terrible against their deck anyway. Brainstorm would be like a great rip here. Daze should be okay. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to just reanimate here, and then I'm going to waste them. And if they want to daze this back to hand, they can do that. There's definitely an argument that I should have played up the Tarn and gotten an Underground Sea to do that. I think now is a good time to just waste because it's tapped. We could go to upkeep, but they may be able to figure out something to do there. All right, we're at 10. They get delirious and they have more bolts. We're in trouble. We do have force up now, but they have daze up. I definitely would prefer to be able to fetch an Underground Sea and have daze online. They have 3 card types, so if they can get a sorcery in the graveyard, that's bad for us. And there's nothing we can do to stop them getting types in their graveyard. I'm just going to let that happen. Our only way to remove this is Snuff Out, which is pretty scary. But I can't be like forcing lightning bolts here. They don't get delirious, they can't attack. They can't attack. And we have another wasteland for them. Okay, yet another. All right, I am going to just go ahead and waste them now. And I think we do need to start attacking. We could absolutely get destroyed here, but I think it's worth trying here. So if they have a bolt, we're basically dead because force is off. We just have to hope that they dud on Delirium. Is this Ponder? This is Ponder, and we're probably dead. I'm going to let this happen. I don't want to force anything. Like, I'll probably force a bolt at this point. But we're out of Snuff Out range. We actually don't have a way to kill them. We don't have any flyers in our entire deck other than Baleful Strix. So if we find Baleful Strix, that could get us out of this. Okay, they found another fetch. Their MTGO like advances it for you, and I'm always like clicking it, whoops, and clicking it a bunch. So our opponent was doing like the little click do-si-do thing. All right, we're at 4. This is probably the worst matchup for Death and Taxes or Death Shadow, other than like, well, I mean, like Jeskai control would probably be the real nightmare matchup. We want to be facing combo decks. We don't want to be facing fair decks. Here comes the bolt. What are they doing? Why are they doing this in our upkeep? It must be a bolt. Unholy Heat. If we force this, we're dead next turn. What are the chances we find something? If we find Strix, exactly, and if it somehow by a miracle resolves through likely days, then we're okay. But we're not going to have any interaction to stop it. Let's go ahead and let them surveil. If they keep the top card, then I'll probably just not force. See, I have to check the log to see if they kept. I think they did keep. They did keep it. Oh my goodness. So how do we win? They've used 2 of their bolts. They may have fatal pushes. I'm going to be completely candid. I don't think we win where we force here because there's such a high likelihood that they have a daze. Forcing also puts us like totally in bolt range. Yeah, I'm going to not do it. I know that sounds probably totally crazy. All right, I think we have almost certainly lost. We had to fetch a blue source. If we play this out, we show them that we're Death Shadow. I'm gonna Thoughtseize them for information here. Okay, they had Murktide. Yeah, we were totally dead. Because, like, let's say we wasted, then we wouldn't be advancing our game plan. We'd be at 1 life. We wouldn't be able to fetch. Yeah, I definitely think we lost this game. I mean, like, we definitely lost it, but, like, I don't think we were even close to digging out of that. And I don't think forcing that would have been consequential because we would have... But they did have the days is what I'm saying. Like forcing there would have been bad because then we wouldn't have had the out of potentially drawing. Okay, so let's go into our sideboard and let's see if we have anything that's good here. Obviously, Hydroblast is going to be coming in. I think that's good. I don't think Kaito comes in here because they have Blue Elemental Blast, or they have Pyroblast, and they also have the ability to just never let us get to 3 mana. Like that game, we were wasting them and they were wasting us. And maybe we were in air wasting them, but they just kept having lands. And Delver, there's a general saying that you're not supposed to waste Delver, but okay, cards that are coming out. I feel like Snuff Out is... Oh, Thoughtseize comes out for sure. I think Thoughtseize is terrible against their deck. We'll keep the Reanimate. I accidentally grabbed that. Let's bring the Reanimate back in. Engineered Explosives, as crazy as it sounds, it is removal. Like, and it might be able to hit multiple creatures. I think we bring it in. We don't have the luxury of taking that Snuff Out, even though it does damage to us. We do need to remove their cards. I don't think Dismember is nearly as good as Snuff Out. Snuff Out can hit Merc. That's one of the great things about Snuff Out. I think everything else looks fine. I like the Bowmasters. I really like the Baleful Strix. Baleful Strix is probably the best card in our deck against them because it gets us a card and it trades with one of their threats. So we have to hope that we're going to be on the play. We have to hope that we don't have to mulligan a lot. And we have to hope that we draw Baleful Strix. I think if we draw Baleful Strix, we'll be in a good position. And if we play Disciplined... I mean, this is a keep. I'm going to keep this. I'm worried that they're going to waste us. Is this a keep? We don't really do anything initially. This just like stands there. I think we need to be the aggressor here. This is not a keep because the mana. This is a keep. This has the Troll Reanimate combo. This also has Days to protect it. I'm going to keep... I'm going to put back a Delta. And I'm going to put back... I'm going to put back a Pyroblast. We can draw it later. I don't think they're likely... Yeah, I don't think they're likely playing Stifle. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to instep this. And that way we have Days up if... I can't think of a spell we Daze here. We really just want a Daze to protect. But if they Ponder here, Delver's fine. So now what I'm going to do, I think I am going to go get Basics. I'm going to go get Basic Island, and then I'll go get Basic Swamp. There's just a lot of power against Delver in having your Basics. And keep in mind that they probably presume that we are a Reanimator deck, because nobody plays Death Shadow, and we didn't show them anything that was Death Shadow specific. All right, now I'm almost certain that this can resolve, because I can put a lot of resources into resolving it. We're going to take 6. We're going to drop to... Okay, what are they doing here? I think the simple thing to do here is just to Daze this and hold on to our Force for later. Okay. We got it back. I can use this mana to go ahead and Ponder here, and I do think that that's good. All right. Wasteland's fine. I like the Death Shadow. I think Death Shadow is actually really good here, because they're going to be hitting us, and we're almost certainly going to be within range. So what I'm going to do is I'll take the Death Shadow next turn. I'll take the Daze now, so we have Force up in case they have like Unholy Heat or something like that. That's something I'm kind of worried about. All right, and we will pass with our 6/5 attacker on the table. Brazen Borrower is something I would force. Let's see if they flip this. Okay, they don't flip it. That's lucky. I wish I'd taken the Wasteland first. This is fine. Yeah, Wasteland would have definitely been better here, because I could have wasted them instead of holding the Shadow, which I'm almost certainly just going to hold it for a few turns. Yeah, that was a bad play, but I'm still learning. All right, let's go ahead and attack. We've got Daze up in case they have, like, I don't know what they could have to kill this. Dismember. Some decks might be playing Dismember. All right, 2 more swings, and they are dead. Okay, they're fetching. I mean, They can't kill us this turn. Like next turn, maybe. But because they're going to only be attacking for 2 here, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, I'm glad I didn't waste them now. Wasteland's a bad draw now. We're just going to take the 2. I think I am going to deploy Death Shadow next turn. Just because I don't have anything else to do. I do think I waste just to restrict their options. They are doing something. Seek the Beast. Let's get that trigger. So this is going to be a creature to the graveyard. Let's see what they reveal. Yeah, I don't think this is the force. We'll see if they reveal something catastrophic. So we get their land. Their exile zone is another DRC and another Delver. Well, I'm going to go ahead and drop this. And they do have chump blockers now. They could, in theory, like present enough blockers to be able to stop us. But that would be devastating for them to do that. I'm glad I did Seek the Beast there or I'm glad I did waste them there because that's less material they have to do stuff. They're going to have to tap all their mana just to put these creatures on the table. Delver still did not flip, which is unlucky for them. But keep in mind, Delver will only flip like 1 out of 3 times. It just feels like it always flips because it's so devastating when it does against you. Wasteland, ineffectual against our basic lands. Petty Theft. Let them surveil first, and then I'm going to force this. All right, do they have the force back? That did grow our Death Shadow too, the force. All right. Pretty sure we just won. They can play 1 and they can block with like triple block. It is a forced triple block, which is pretty good for us. I'm trying to imagine how we lose from here. The clocks have stopped. I think they scooped. Yeah. Okay, awesome. We won a game against basically the nightmare matchup. Like I hope it doesn't get tiring. Like, oh, this is the nightmare matchup. That's why I'm going to lose really badly here. No, this really is the nightmare matchup. They have like all the tools to kill you through their burn spells and stuff like that. I don't think we make any changes. Again, Kaito never would have been relevant there. Kaito is really just like you're up against Jeskai control. You're up against lands. Kaito is insane against lands. Okay, I'm going to stop blabbering and we're going to get to the next game. Round 4. Round 1, game 3. I don't know why I said round 4. We have Baleful Strix start, and we've got plenty of lands. I think this is a snap keep. Hydroblast is also nice. I think I'm just going to start playing things out. Do we want to ponder? We probably do. Want to find like a snuff out for this. Oh, that's good. I think we just hold up. So we're not going to be fetching these watery graves at all ourselves. Like they're going to do plenty of damage to us as is. I think this turn we troll and the next turn we blast. And then the third turn we Strix with Daze mana up. I think we should do that. I would love to shuffle this watery grave back. I just don't want to play it. I don't want to take damage. It's basically an ETB tap land in this matchup. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and island and we're going to pass. This way we do have Hydroblast if absolutely necessary. Like if they Seek the Beast, that would be a good Hydroblast target. But I am worried that they'll likely have Daze. They had remember, when we Thoughtseize them, they did have Daze. So they always have Daze. Right, they're getting some selection here with the Brainstorm, and they're getting to bin a Ponder, which means they're probably going to be Delirious this turn. I think if we can take it a little slow, and if they don't get like a super fast Delirium, maybe we can survive. They didn't bin a creature. They didn't bin an artifact yet. Do they have an artifact? Okay, they're fetching again. They may have another cantrip to try to find Delirium. Grafdigger's Cage. That's totally fine with me. This does give them a Delirium trigger, but that's basically a negative card. We only have 3 Dismembers in the deck. We don't have any in hand. I am kind of tempted to just go for the Pyroblast here. We don't need to troll this turn. We could totally chill. If they get to buy it back, they get another Delirium trigger. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Because if they don't blast this, then I'll know that next turn I can play the Strix. If they Daze this, then I probably will play the Strix next turn. Okay, they do have the Daze, so they're going to get the Surveil trigger. They're going to go up on mana, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that they don't have a second daze. The other option is to just go ahead and force this, which seems super dicey. If let's see. No, I think I'm going to force if they force my Strix. Okay. We'll take 3. I'm surprised they brought Grafdigger's Cage in when I played the Death Shadow, because Death Shadow generally doesn't play a lot. Okay, now I can definitely Strix here with Daze Protection. This is, again, the best card in our deck against them. I wouldn't be surprised if they force here. Okay, we got it. Another troll, not the greatest. I mean, like, if the game stalls out long enough, we can be hard casting these. It's not great. 6 mana is doable. This has to attack into our Baleful Strix. They have another one. It's fine. I'm not going to fight over that one. And another one I will... Oh, they're going to bolt. I'll daze this bolt. I'm going to let them resolve their triggers first. I assume they're bolting... Yeah, they're bolting the Strix, which we cannot have because we need one of these to trade with the DRC. They're putting Surgicals in their graveyard. That's good food for Merc. All right, so I'm just going to daze here. They've got 2 cards left in hand. One of these is going to smash into our Strix. I will force to stop this, I think. Oh, wow, they had another daze. Why didn't they daze this yesterday? Like, I guess they drew it this turn. Yeah, they're getting so many triggers here. I bet you they found a Murktide because they didn't bin anything here. I do have to force this. This is focused on our daze. We can just force the bolt. I'll let these go through. All right, now they attack. Yeah, we're in a bad state. The best thing we can draw would be another Strix for sure. All right, Snuff Out. Snuff Out does it. So I'm thinking of just snuffing out now. Maybe play the Watery Grave first. No, I'll just... I will play this out because I would love for them to waste. But I don't think there's no way they can have double days as their last cards. I'm just going to go ahead and do this now. Snuff Out to the rescue. And then we can troll cycle end step. We can hold a troll for brainstorm purposes. We don't have Grief in our deck, unfortunately, because it was banned. I used to play the non-Rescaminator Grief deck. And it was really fun to be able to, like, you know, just keep these around to pitch to Grief. But you don't have to hear my tales of grief. Another Snuffed Out is great. We're actually pretty close to being able to hardcast it. They've already seen this island, so I'll play it out, and we'll pass. If they Merc, I'll be so happy because Snuff Out is great against Murktide. But I will be a little bit worried. Well, actually, I won't be worried about days because I can troll cycle end step, go get another land. But we may actually pay for it, is what I'm saying. I do think we go get the land here. I'm just going to keep my life total flush for now. Since I can get into... Oh, amazing draw. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's see if we can find a fetch. We don't find a fetch. Reanimate's terrible. Bowmasters is, however, quite good. And Hydroblast is quite good. So I think what we do is we put the Reanimate back. We put this back. Now we can play this out. And we can pass. And if they play like a Delver, we can snipe it. But I think, like, if they play a cantrip, I'm going to play Orcish Bowmasters. They could have Bolt in hand. That would make sense. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this out end step. And they will need double days in their grip to stop this. All right, let's hit them. All right, we draw a land. We're going to play it. Now we've got Hardcast Snuff with Pyroblast back up. Really, just days. We can pay for days, is what I mean. Okay. Let's see how far we can get with these. See if they can rip some cantrips here. That's fine. Just borrowing that. They may cast this out, which is not great. Okay. I love to see lands on my opponent's side. I think they're probably going to play this turn and start trying to race us. I don't want to have to snuff out a Brazen Borrower. If we find our one Brazen Borrower, we could bounce that and then we could get back like a DRC or something like that. Probably get back a Strix. That would be insane. Yeah, so I do think Brazen Borrower is like the best possible draw in our deck at this point. Okay, there is a risk here There's a risk that they have Hardcast Force next turn. I think I am going to go ahead and let this resolve, and I'm just going to snuff it out. I'll just pay. Oh, I didn't have an end step. Stop. Okay, that happens a lot to me, unfortunately. So now they may have the ability to force. If they fetch, then I'll just snuff it. Actually, they can fetch and Hardcast Force here. I think I'm just going to take the hit. See what the top of our deck brings. Yeah, actually, they can... I may want to go ahead and get their Hardcast Force out of the way, actually, because I will want to resolve some other stuff later. I'm going to just get this out of the way. If they have Hardcast Force. They could have double days. If they double days, it's not that bad because that means like their entire hand is spent. Okay, they let that happen. I think they do probably have Hardcast Force, judging by the way that they thought about that. All right, this is exactly what I was telling you I wanted to see. So there's a good chance that they just force this. So if we wait until end step, then we can bounce it out and maybe they'll have tapped. Or if they tap this for some reason, then I'll bounce that out. Yeah, I don't think that's likely to happen though. I do want Brazen Borrower to actually resolve though. I don't want it to get forced because if it resolves, then we get the creature as well. So I do want the creature and the effect. Would I prefer to just get a troll at this point? Maybe. Yeah, I'm just going to go to their turn. They have a ton of lands over there. Okay, I think that if I borrow this, they're almost certainly going to force. We are very close to Hardcast troll mana. All right, I'm gonna attempt to do this. This is an impatient play. They can just force this. They are going to force it now, it looks like. Yeah, if I'd just been a little bit more patient. They're not presenting any pressure. Yeah, there's the force. Okay. I think that was a misplay. That was, and I don't know how I talked myself into doing it. I should have just been more diligent, okay, Daze is a terrible draw. Let's attack for our 1 damage and let's pass. We've got nothing going on now. That was literally our only shot at making Reanimate good. So I think that was just nerves, like knowing that what kind of explosive things their deck is capable of. If they mark here, we're just dead in the water. This does give us Hardcast. I'm going to play it out. I don't expect for us to Hardcast a troll, but that would be a great way to win the game if it comes to be. It's also worth noting, like, had I waited the next turn, I would have had Daze, so I would have been able to, when they cracked this, I would have been able to, no, it wouldn't have mattered because they could have just fetched again. Wow, they must be breaking hard, but we're breaking hard too. But we have more bricks in our deck than they do. That's another brick. Once they kill this, they're just going to have so much interaction. But I'm going to definitely fight the Hydroblast. Counter target spell. Please don't force. Actually, I welcome them forcing here because it means that my Daze will actually find the target. All right. And with that, they have broken the dam, and now they're going to be able to cantrip. I think our odds of winning have dropped dramatically here. All right. They suspect we have Hardcast Force, so they're just playing around it. They probably have Murktide here. Yep. Murktide mana. We have like basically one turn. We don't have a Surveillant in our deck because in pure tempo decks, I don't think it's correct to play them. So this is 2 swings from death, and if they have bolts and stuff like that, we're pretty screwed. Trying to think of what we can draw. Like, if we draw Death Shadow and they attack, then we can attack back for lethal. So that is something. If we draw a Brainstorm, we are going to want to shuffle these away, so I'm not going to try to fetch the thin. Okay, that is a Shadow. We can fetch Shock to get this lower if they attempt a bolt. We're at 12, so we would barely survive. If they can feed one Murktide with another, then we're dead. They're too smart. Hydroblast is a great pickup. I think we just have to stay in a holding pattern. A single bolt would be death here if we do have to do the fetch shock thing. But this Hydroblast does give us some insulation. This is an exciting game. I'm amazed that we're doing as well as we are. And I think had I been patient, especially drawing double days, had I just waited until I was sure that I could resolve it, this situation would be dramatically different because we would probably have a Baleful Strix on the table. We'd have another card in our grip. So I think this is a Hydro just because it gives them more selection if it resolves. This could be nothing at all. This could be the bait, but I mean, this will kill us. All right, Ponder's great. I'm going to go ahead and fire it off. Find me a Strix. These are all bad cards. Don't want to draw through those. I think we have to hold that. We still have one left in our deck, I believe, that we can fetch. But if we draw that, then the Death Shadow actually isn't lethal. Actually, it will be. Never mind. I'm just going to pass. Man, this... Come on, deck. We're barely playing any lands. They have a Ponder of their own. This is probably enough to push... Like, assuming their Ponder actually delivers, unlike our Ponder, which showed 4 bricks. Yeah, I imagine they'll find a way to clear this. All they need is a bolt. If they find a second bolt, then they can bolt. And then when we fetch, they can bolt it again, and then they can attack us. Or they can just bolt us directly after we fetch this. We have barely enough life to fetch Shock and still be alive to hit them. If they find a chump, that's another thing. I guess with the DRC, we could have waited to see if they attacked and then blasted the DRC. That's something we could have done. Another Shadow. This doesn't help, but I am going to deploy it. Now, they are really priced into alpha striking us. I would love to daze this if they decide to daze, or if they decide to force. This basically means they can never attack. Unholy Heat. So, I think we just let this resolve because it's gonna do 5, and if we try to get it big enough, it's actually gonna kill us in the process. All right, well, we won for 1. It's good to know about that Unholy Heat. We have so many good draws, deck. That is one of them. That's pretty good. I'm going to wait until they do something, and then I'll play it. We do also have the option of pinging ourselves if we need to grow this somehow. I'm just going to hope they put a cantrip on the stack. I think we just wait. We wait for a cantrip. Another Shadow. Let's drop it. I'm just going to daze this. You know what? I'm just going to pick up. I'm not even sure if they have more fetchables in their deck. They probably have a Trop. All right, it's in. We're replaying our land. We're passing. This is so intense. I've never been in like a stalemate like this that's lasted so long. This has been like a 6 or 7 turn stalemate. Seek the Beast. I think we let this go. And if they find a cantrip, then we start poking them. What do they get? Unholy Heat and a Delver. That's pretty good. If they Unholy Heat 1, and then if they cast a Delver, we'll just poke the Delver. They have 2 unknowns in hand. They have to play this out this turn. They're playing this out. Okay. I will poke this if they cast the Unholy Heat. This is targeting one of them. All right, I'm going to go ahead and poke this now. Because this represents like a bigger threat than the Delver, I think. They daze. Unfortunately, we do need to fetch here. And I don't want to put us in bolt range, so I think I am going to grab... the only thing I can grab is this. So I'll get it. I am going to pay the life so I can pay for days. Hopefully this isn't the death of us. Oh, did the trigger already go on the stack? Oh, no. I misunderstood how it worked. It's a cast trigger, so it doesn't actually matter. Yeah, that was dumb. That was really dumb. Okay. And pinging myself wouldn't have helped there. I think we're just dead. Yeah, that was a punt. Sorry to end like such an epic long game with a punt. They can attack now, get us to 1, and they can deploy so many blockers that there's no way we can get through. Oh, they have a bolt too. This is targeting us probably. Yeah, we're dead. Yep, that's sad. Okay, well I'm gonna tighten up and try to play better in round 2. See you in round 2. All right, we're up against unique username. So this is not a keep against Dredge. Let's go ahead and mulligan this. This, unfortunately, isn't a keep either. This would be a great hand if it had land, but don't even look at your hands that don't have land. Just mulligan. I never want to keep another no-lander, even against like a glass cannon deck, because I've had so many situations where I've had like 2 forces and like a surgical, and then they just proceed to Thoughtseize me while I don't draw land. This deck will not organically draw land. It's got 16 lands? 17, I think. By the way, while we're waiting for my opponent, I realized what happened last game. They cast a second spell, and that gave it the toughness. And I should have seen the +1 counter and just targeted them, but it didn't matter. At that point, I was dead. All they needed was something on the ground to chump for a turn so they could start attacking in. And we denied them that. But I do think there were several inflection points where I punted. One, I punted when I immediately Hydroblast the DRC. I should have let it resolve and seen if they attacked and then used the DRC. 2, I punted when I tried to use my Brazen Borrower too early. Had I waited, I would have drawn Double Daze, and I didn't know I would draw Double Daze, but I would have eventually drawn some interaction to guarantee that I could jam that through. And then we would have had a beater in the sky, and we would have also... so this is a mulligan, my opponent's back. Okay, this is a keep. This is a keep. Okay, so Snuff Out's bad. Strix is not great. Force is the main spell that we need here. I'm going to keep. I think we do want to keep Daze. So Snuff Out goes back. I think we need to put Strix back. It just doesn't do enough here. Let's think about this. Brainstorm does actually help us find another land, and yeah. The other thing is I probably do... It's questionable as to whether I'm actually going to be able to use Death Shadow well here. The reason I say this is because Death Shadow is a ground creature. It doesn't have any form of evasion, and if they get even like a single Poxwalkers out or something, or like just a zombie token from Bridge from Below, it walls it forever. So I don't think we take the... But at the same time, our life total really doesn't matter. I'm gonna hold the Brainstorm. I think that has the most upside, because Troll Reanimate is a plan to beat them before they can beat us. So we're gonna play this, and we'll just go get the Underground Sea and then Daze if we need to, and then we'll waste their land and we'll hope they have a 1-lander. They kept 6. If they open LED, that's an immediate Daze. Okay, they do have a land. They're fetching. They might fetch a basic. They didn't. Therapy. This always names Force. I just let it go. They're naming them. Oh, they're targeting themselves. That makes sense. I didn't even look to see that they were targeting themselves. Sorry, that was a bad play. Okay, so they are going to get Golgari Grave Troll in their hand. We don't have any main deck answer to this. So they're going to be able to start dredging here. They may not even need any more mana for the rest of the game. Let's take a look at the rest of their hand real quick. So they also have Otherworldly Gaze, Anger, and Dread Return. All cards they want in their graveyard. So Otherworldly Gaze is what I'm worried about, but they do have a Cephalid Colosseum, and it's immediately going to be useful if they have mana, so I do think we need to waste this turn. Let's go and see what we draw. Watery Grave, not super helpful. One option, well, no, I think we just have to go ahead and waste so they don't get to Cephalid Colosseum this turn. And I think we chill. So Cephalid Colosseum can do Otherworldly Gaze, but we don't even care at this point. Like, the dam is already open. They've already got Golgari Grave Troll. We just have to hope they don't hit Narcomoeba. If they hit Narcomoeba, then everything goes crazy. All right. So the best rip in our deck at this point, let's see, they have another Dredger, Dredge 5. They do have the Poxwalkers. They have the Cabal Therapy. That's the thing. We just have to keep the board clear of creatures. I'm going to be... Do I have the luxury of waiting to brainstorm, or should I brainstorm now? That's the real question. I think I'm going to wait a turn. Okay, they're Otherworldly Gazing here. I don't care about this. At this point, like, the dam's already broken. They can manipulate their draw, but they're almost certainly going to want to be dredging anyway. So this is really just like a kind of a Dredge 3 effect. If they keep any of the cards, I'll assume they're lands. What's Golgari Throg? Two cards on top of their library. Okay, so I think that what they've found might be like an LED. It might be another mana source. I think we definitely want to find a wasteland if we can. Daze is not terrible, but I think it's unlikely that they're going to actually cast spells here. I think we do start shocking ourselves just because this is a way we can potentially win. We are giving away what our deck does. I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm here. Borrower doesn't do much. We don't want this land. We don't want either of these lands. We're pretty dead in the water here. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. And now they can probably play a land and just go crazy with Cephalid Coliseum. Careful study. This is a Daze. They drew that intentionally because they knew that that represented two triggers. So I'm going to go ahead and just get another Watery Grave and bring it in untapped. Wasteland, please. Even Wasteland doesn't necessarily save us, but it is the best draw in our deck right now. We know they're going to keep their next draw too. Snuff Out's actually really terrible against this deck. So that's probably what I'll draw here. Oh, Death Shadow. Okay. So you're saying there's a chance. We're going to play this. I would like to pay the life. And I'm just going to go ahead and drop it. It's very tiny now. They don't have like Dark Blast or anything like that in their graveyard. I can make it bigger if I need to with Force of Will. Our opponent's probably like, haven't seen this in about 3 years. It's not a widely played archetype. I think in the past 2 weeks, there's been one person who has any sort of activity with Death Shadow on MTG top 8. And it's probably just like some small tournament with like 20 people. All right, we're going to pass. I definitely want to Daze whatever they do just to get an extra shock and extra damage and slow them down a little bit. They may Dredge here instead of draw, but they do know that they're drawing something, right? If it's a land, then that's... Oh, LED. Yeah, that's an easy force. And we are going to pitch Borrower, I think, here and hold on to the dream of dazing them. I'm aware that we could have like dazed there and replayed it for extra shock damage, but I think this Daze is going to do better than that. Fetch would be nice. Wasteland would be very nice. So they are unable to flash this back. So currently their hand is Dread, Return, Anger, 2 unknown. Or 1 unknown. They do still have 2 Dredgers in their yard, which they're not using for some reason. I'm not sure why. I think what they're trying to do is draw to mana so that they can activate that. I think that's probably the reason they haven't used it. But I'm pretty sure now that they've used their Otherworldly Gaze, they've looked at both of those cards that they ripped off of that. They're going to pivot to dredging. Ponder's a great rip. Let's find something that is good. Bowmasters doesn't actually do anything against them. Troll doesn't do anything against them. We could Troll to get... yeah, I think this is a shuffle. Like, it bothers me because we definitely could, Troll and then get a land and then shock and do a little more damage. That would be hitting for 5 instead of... Or hitting, for 4 instead... And that's not worth it. It's not worth a draw step for that. Okay, this is a terrible rip. I'm going to hold it for Brainstorm, and I'm just going to attack for 2. But we knew that it was possible that we were going to get a terrible rip there. There's another card. I think I am going to Daze this, just because it stops them from being able to immediately use the Cephalid Coliseum if they pay for it, and it gives us 2 extra damage when we... So now they can use this if they want to flash back something, but I think they're going to wait to flash back on Cephalid Coliseum, and we're going to hopefully draw a Wasteland now. Their hand is totally dead if we waste. We do waste. That is great. Does mean we're just hitting for 2, so it's kind of like not the greatest turn cycle, but yeah, I'll take it. This is the slowest, wimpiest Death Shadow beatdown. Okay, Narcomoeba. They found a Narcomoeba off their Dredge. That gets the chain going. Now they have a chumper for our Death Shadow, and I think we've lost. So here's the therapy. They're going to see that we have nothing going on unless they want to just target themselves. They get double Poxwalkers. Okay, they are targeting us. Probably going to name Force. They do have to kill us in 1 Alpha Strike currently, but they do have Anger. It's still in hand though. They don't have any other way. Well, yeah, they have Dread Return, which can make a giant Golgari Grave Troll. This troll is not promising at all. Let's see. If we shock this in, then we hit for 4. They can hit for 6, but they can just keep a blocker back. This doesn't... Let's see. Death Touch. Yeah, so bad. Yeah, I do think we hit for 4 here. I don't think that we hold back. If you are a more experienced Death Shadow player and you see a reason that I shouldn't be attacking like this, let me know. Like a single Narcomoeba can hold this at bay while they attack with these. Or they can just attack with one and keep the other back. But then if we find a removal spell for it, which we don't have, by the way, we have a Brazen Borrower that can bounce one. At this point, I'd rather keep Troll hidden because that tells them we have Troll Reanimate. I don't know if that changes anything about how they sideboard, but it might. So there's no reason to play this Troll. Like, we don't need the land. Satoru. They did not hit something that... let's see. Did they hit a Cabal Therapy? No. They can flashback Faithless Looting, though. They're getting red here. They did ditch their hand for that LED. So Anger's in their graveyard now. Ox. This is lethal, I believe. Yeah, I think we're dead now. I didn't think about Ox. Was that in their yard earlier? I don't think I saw it earlier. So now they can hit us for like 8 and we're dead. I'm just going to concede. They did find a Narcomoeba. Yeah, we can concede. They're not going to make a fatal mistake. Actually, we'll let them make the mistake. Actually, we're not going to let them. They're not going to make the mistake. They've been playing this deck for like years. Okay, so post-board, we are bringing in our Surgicals for sure. I think we're bringing in Force Negation for sure. We're taking out Snuff Out. Snuff Out is atrocious. I mean, technically, Snuff Out would stop like Narcomoebas and but I don't think those are good. I think Engineered Explosives could come in. I don't think so. Force, Blast, Surgicals. And then we don't want this. We don't want... I mean, Reanimate might not be terrible. I wonder what the text... Oh, wait. We do want Thoughtseize, I think, on the play. Well, we might take it out on the draw. Yeah, Thoughtseize on the play is pretty good. So we're taking out our Snuff Outs. Okay. So one option is to take out the Bowmasters. They're pretty slow, and they don't really do anything. They can ping themselves, but like our opponent's never actually drawing cards. Almost always they're dredging. So Bowmasters is pretty weak. Baleful Strix is also kind of weak, but it does pitch to Force. Death Shadow itself is very weak against their deck. I think this is actually a matchup where we take out Death Shadow. And I hope to not do this a lot because I want to highlight Death Shadow, but it's just so bad here. Like we attack for like maybe 6 over like 3 turns. And then, we don't need a giant wall. We need a win con. And I think Troll's a win con. I think Baleful Strix at least draws a card and is blue and pitch to Force. Orcish Bowmasters, we can stall them out and maybe incidentally hit them when they're doing things like when they don't have dredgers and to serve as replacement effects. Okay, let's take a look here. This is a snap keep. Snap. We've got double reanimate. Double reanimate. We've got surgical. I'm going to think for a second so my opponent isn't sure about this, and then I am going to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to go ahead and open Wasteland. If I open Wasteland, actually then they know. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take 2 here and hope that they do go for non-basics. Then we're going to pass. So I think Troll will be fast enough on the play. Because next turn we can Troll and we can waste, which will be really strong. They usually win all at once with like a big alpha strike. Or they just don't even use combat to win. Because they have Thassa's Oracle in their deck. Let's get an Underground Sea here. Otherworldly Gaze. We're going to let this happen. We'll just surgical whatever dredger they find here. Double Grave Troll. That's great for us. See what we draw. Ponder's not bad. I think I'm going to go ahead and waste first. Just in case they are playing Daze. I don't think that's within the realm of possibility. I'm going to go ahead and surgical the Golgari Grave Troll. Let's take a look at their hand. Being very careful to get the graveyard stuff. Okay, so library, hand. I'm just going to do a screenshot here. Okay, so they have Careful Study. They have a Colosseum. They have Loam. They don't have green mana for Loam. Careful Study next turn is kind of scary, but I think it's going to take them a few turns to set up. Ox is a bad card. They can put a Stinkweed Imp into the graveyard and start dredging that. 2 turns from now, they can potentially Cephalid. Yeah, I think we can race them. Let's go ahead and reanimate our troll. We'll pass. We technically, if they don't hurt themselves at all, they do hurt themselves when they tap Cephalid Colosseum, but we may have to hit 4 times to kill them. The other alternative is we may be able to actually, if they put a Dredger in the graveyard, I could reanimate it, and then they won't be able to dredge it. This is the Careful Study. Okay, they did put a Stinkweed Imp, and that's their Soul Dredger, so I think I'm going to go after that. And I do think that I'm going to waste this Valk to prevent them from being able to... Yeah, I'm going to waste the Valk. I realize that like wasting the actual Cephalid Colosseum is something I can do. Grab that Stinkweed Imp. Let's attack. And now, with these additional 2 damage from the Stinkweed Imp, I think we will be able to win before they can string together a win. Because their hand is pretty bad. All right, the clocks have stopped. No, wait, the clocks are going again. I always looked at the clock because sometimes... anyway. It's worth noting that Stinkweed Imp is flying, so even if they can get a creature on the table, like both of our creatures have evasion, their draw for turn was Misty Rainforest. Again, I'm not sure how they're going to get out of this. I don't think we Thoughtseize here. I think we can Ponder. I think that's a good play. If we can find a Wasteland, that will dissuade them from being able to use the Surveil Land here. I do think playing the Wasteland out is fine. And then we can draw a Baleful Strix next turn when we can cast it. Okay, 1 more attack and they're dead. All right, now they're not able to use the Surveil Land step. They can fetch. Faithless Looting. I think it's fine. They discard the Ox. Bringing back Ox doesn't save them. Careful Study. They don't have any dredgers other than Life from the Loam. I think this is fine. They found Poxwalkers and Cabal Therapy, neither of which saved them. Okay, we did it. Let's go to game 3. I do feel like the sideboard strategy of taking out the Death Shadows was correct here. Yeah, let's go to game 3. All right, final game of round 2 against Dredge. This is a keep. I like the sheer preponderance of interaction here. I like that Force Negation can potentially stop both the front side and potential backside of Faithless Looting. This is precisely what I was talking about. We're going to hit this. We're going to pitch the Borrower here. All right, this is a good rip. They could have a follow-up. I think what I'm going to do is I'll just play this, and I'm going to wait a turn cycle just in case I can Hydroblast something. Because if they have a second one, I want to be able to blast it. It's unlikely. They have 4 of those in their 75. Also, if I wait, I can get a little more card selection with the Ponder because I can decide whether I want to keep or not keep certain cards. Cephalid Colosseum. This is what I was talking about. We're going to blast it. So he started blasting. I'm very glad that I kept that up. Because Days wouldn't have worked there. Okay, that's not a good rip. I want to find a Brainstorm pretty badly here, but I have the option of playing out the Swamp instead of the Fetch if we want to cast something immediately. I did find the Brainstorm. I can't do it this turn. I think I have to do it next turn. We could go ahead and Thoughtseize this turn. I think that's fine, because there could just be a bunch of jank in their hand. There is the risk that I Thoughtseize and their oops all dredgers, you know, but if they have something like a Breakthrough or something in hand, they probably would have cast it by now. Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Thoughtseize here, and I'm going to do it. This is risky. They're pretty far away from activating Cephalid Coliseum, but I am actively helping them get closer to it. So I'm already kind of regretting doing this, but we'll see what's in their hand. They're keeping me in suspense. Clocks are pretty much tied at 12 minutes each. This is like a chess game of a matchup. Or like really any tempo deck versus Dredge is like performing brain surgery. There's just, you have to be so careful. Every single turn cycle matters because they're just getting closer to their inevitable victory. If we can snag like an LED that they just played out, that they didn't play out because they were worried about force or something, that'll be so gratifying. The fact that they're thinking so hard makes me think that they have some instant speed interaction. Like maybe they want to go ahead and cast their glimpse of the whatever the glimpse card is called, so that I have fewer cards to choose from and I have to choose a dredger. Okay, well, careful study. So glad I did this. My goodness. And their hand is pretty garbage. They are going to be able to flashback careful study next turn, but I'll just daze. Wow, we've got a ball game. We don't have any pressure on our side of the table, but we are drawing Brainstorm, which we can use to... actually, we can't use it. We can't Brainstorm next turn. So the reason we can't Brainstorm is we wouldn't be able to shuffle away. But I think probably we just go ahead and hold the Brainstorm and we go ahead and shuffle anyway, because we don't want to draw that third land or fourth land that's on top. Yep, here. Doing everything we can to keep them at bay, but they have a terrible hand. They actually got themselves a little bit farther away from Threshold too, which is nice. If they hit Threshold, we are dead. I think I'm going to hold up Hydroblast for one more turn cycle and then get a perfect Brainstorm. I'm going to be patient. They have nothing going on. I don't even know if they have a way to get cards in their graveyard here. Narcomoeba, sure. They don't have any flashback potential here. It is merely a blocker. All right, we draw the land, which we don't want to see, but we knew it was there. We're going to Brainstorm now. Okay, so there are no reanimation targets. I think we just put out Strix to draw deeper into our deck. Really, our only win con is reanimating. Because Bowmasters technically. So I'll just put back this, and Hydroblast is unlikely to be good here. We've already gone through their two of their 4 red cards in their deck. I think I'm going to go like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and just grab an Underground Sea. No reason to reduce our life total. Now we're going to go blue, black, and we are going to Strix here. And then we'll ponder next turn. Daze is not terrible. It might be relevant. They are drawing to really just... So we got the Careful Study and we got 2 Faithless Lootings out of their deck. So they need those to kick off. They're drawing to Breakthrough. Another land is great for us. I am going to actively ram this into their Narcomoeba because I want to do some damage here. And it's a good reanimation target. I'm going to go ahead and ponder first just to make sure I don't find a Bowmaster because I would love to ping that. There's the Troll. I think we just Troll reanimate here. This Hydroblast, not necessary. All right, we got Troll on the table. I don't think putting a card in their graveyard matters, but I do want to get a little more damage. I don't really care if they block this. I don't want them to build up 3 blockers. I can't think of a reason why they would benefit from having this other than it getting them slightly closer to Cephalid Coliseum. They're letting it through. That's great. They're not going to be able to aggro us. Got another Strix on the way. All right, they're passing without play. They might be scared to attack us just because they don't know if Death Shadow's in the deck. Force is a great draw. I'm just going to come in. All right, let's go ahead and get another one of these out. Another Troll. I think we just chill with Hardcast Days Up if we need it for some reason. I can't imagine why we would. I can't incept Troll here just to get another land. Then I have Hardcast Force and Days Up. They can't even tap their lands, really? Okay, this is a Force. We're taking 0 risks here. Even though it would be nice to be able to hardcast it. So that was one of the 5 remaining cards that they were drawing to. If we troll here, technically we're giving them... Yeah, I'm going to troll just in case we draw another force. All right. They finally passed priority after like a very long wait. I'm going to go ahead and just attack with everything. And then if they don't block for some reason, I can just Bowmaster and win this turn. Looks like they're letting it through. And Bowmaster. All right. Good games. Let's go to round 3. We're 1-1. Round 3. We are on the play against Absand Mage. Unknown opponent. We have a Thoughtseize start. They could waste us. I think we Thoughtseize start. Learn about their deck. I like Thoughtseize start more than I like Ponder here. But again, we could get completely destroyed. But we do have 4 trolls that we're potentially drawing to if they do open waste. Oh, they're a fan of the channel. Yes, I am recording. Thanks for your kind words. Good luck, have fun. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and start off with the Thoughtseize to see their secrets. I think I do want to start on Watery Grave because we have Death Shadow in our hand. Let's just go full Watery Grave strategy. My cat is attempting to walk on my keyboard. Bad cat. All right. Well, Wrath of the Skies is quite a card. I mean, they have so much counterplay to our Death Shadow strategy. They do have a non-basic that they're likely to lead on here. I mean, we've already telegraphed that we're Death Shadow unless we were like voluntarily budgeting or just decided to run a modern deck. I think we take Plow because it represents answers to 2 Death Shadow if we draw a backup Death Shadow. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Right, so I don't expect to be wasted, so I feel very rewarded for my bold play of just yeeting my non-basic out there into the unknown, into the great wide open, as Tom Petty would have said, RIP. Okay, great. So we can waste this, and then they don't have any more land that we know of. They kept, I believe. Actually, I need to check the log. This is why showing the log is showing the chat. Some people are saying you should show it. I just wanted to have a little more real estate. They did keep it. So I'm going to assume it's a land, but I still am going to waste them. I want to get some pressure on, for sure. If we can clear that prismatic ending, that'll be amazing. If we get another Thoughtseize. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a Ponder here. So we're definitely looking to dodge, you know. I mean, these are not bad cards by any means, actually. We want the Strix. I think there's a decent chance that they just maybe counterspell. Well, they won't have the counterspell mana up. Wrath would be pretty devastating. We have to keep them from getting that high in life. All their permanents are like exile-based removal. I think this is a shuffle. Baleful Strix is not a bad card by any means, but Force is a much better card. Let's go ahead and just waste them, and we're just going to try to buy time while we try to reduce our life total. Force is not spectacular, but it is a protection spell. Basic Island. They haven't used their Flooded Strand yet, so they do still have it, so that's something to be cognizant of. I would love to find a Bowmaster. Okay, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to find a fetch or a troll. Troll's not great because they have exile-based removal, but we did take their Plow, so now they only have Prismatic Ending, which is not good against Troll. Okay, so put these back for sure. We could fetch Shock and get our Death Shadow out. It would be a 12. It would be a 1/1, but 1/1 is just the same as any other number, and I think we want the forward momentum. Yes, I would like to pay the life, and I would like to put a puny little 1/1 on the table. We still don't have anything to reanimate. There's definitely an argument for playing, even though this is like a balls to the wall tempo deck, playing a single fetch land. But like usually we're wanting to use our fetches to damage ourselves. This Brainstorm is dazeable. If we daze this, then they don't get. Then they can just, you know, prismatic ending with a impunity. They can also put away like stuff that's probably not good if they have stuff that's not good in their hand. My opponent said anytime Always enjoy the content and learning to be a better player. That is the name of the game. Okay, so I think we let this go, and then maybe we just... I don't know that I want to force a prismatic ending, but we might have to. Then they have... Yeah, because they need double white to get Wrath up, so I think it's fine to just chill. They're fetching. So we know they have Counterspell. I think it's fine to protect the queen here, because they may not be able to get to a second white for Wrath. We know they... Okay, they're brainstorming again. They might be able to find their own force, but that's still a 2 for 2. Okay, cool. So still no target in our graveyard to reanimate, unfortunately, because, again, their deck is exile-based removal, but I am going to fetch my third shock here and hit them for 5. Every life we deny them is basically a little bit of advantage we have later in the game, because they don't really have... Oh, wow, that's great. Okay, I am going to go ahead and fetch and shock. And then I think... Yes, I'm going to pay the 2 life. Now we can hit for 5. I can actually hit him for 6 with Bowmasters out, and that makes it a lot more awkward. But if they do find... they did use their Flooded Strand. They could have a second one. I think I want to chill and just see if I can hit them with the Orcish Bowmasters. And then if they force the... Or somehow counter the Orcish Bowmasters, I don't think they have a force yet. They might have it later. Then what I can do is I can reanimate it. And Bowmasters is the best card in our deck against them. Okay, Plow. Yeah, that's going to happen. Okay, they do have the Wrath of the Skies mana now. All right, we're going to go for this. They are down to 3 cards in hand. Wrath destroys, so we can bring back after they Wrath. We're just going to try to get as much damage as quickly as we can. We're just going to play it like we're a Delver deck, basically. So we're going to be hitting them for 1 more, and then we're going to be hitting them for 3 during their turn. And then if they struggle to find enough mana to kill this, I don't think they're going to Wrath just to kill the token. Best turn on our deck would probably be like a Daze, because it would potentially stop them from being able to Wrath next turn. Another Reanimate's not what we're looking for, but we'll take it. I mean, again, if they're Wrathing us instead of plowing, that's great. They may have put Wrath back, but I'm going to presume they haven't. Oh no, please don't plow. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, more exile-based removal. We want destroy, not exile. Okay, yeah, and they've got the Ponder to follow up. I think we're probably going to lose this game. Like, we've drawn 2 bricks. Troll wouldn't be horrible, but... yeah, now they have Wrath mana up if they still have Wrath in their hand. Force is not great. We're just going to swing for our 2 damage here, and we're going to hold tight and hope that our deck will deliver. I'm still trying to get comfortable with that, being a control player, transitioning to playing more tempo decks. Teferi, that's basically GG. I'm trying to think of how we win. If we find another Bowmaster, it's still a ball game, but if our deck doesn't give us a Bowmaster right now, we're probably dead, and also they have tons of mana up. Brainstorm, let's do it. Set me free with a fetch or a troll. If they force this, it'll just be... Okay. Snuff out is terrible. Force doesn't do anything. I think what we do is we Thoughtseize them, and then we... Yeah, it's not a strong play. We're going to have to draw through these bad cards anyway. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start by Thoughtseizing. And even if we get like a troll on the table or something, they're going to potentially be able to bounce it. Actually, I think we're probably deterministically cooked. They're forcing here. Deal. I still think we're totally screwed, but I'll hit that one just in case they have a way to recur it. And let's see, still no creatures, no creatures. All right. It's interesting they forced there. I wonder what they're protecting. They have Narset? Narset would be a card I would consider protecting there. I can't think of much else. All right. We were about to draw a Snuff Out, so unfortunately, Triumph of St. Catherine doesn't even go to the yard. I was thinking, oh, maybe they'll have Triumph and we can snuff that out and reanimate that. All right, so we're just chilling while their Teferi is ticking up. Not feeling good about this. We're at 13 life. So like the actual Death Shadow itself is a bad draw. We can't even target our own creatures with Snuff Out because they're black. Snapcaster Mage, this is actually really good for us. And the reason is we can reanimate this Snapcaster Mage and then we can flashback like a Ponder. Or I'd probably flashback a Brainstorm. That does mean that they can put it back into their hand. So it's pretty terrible. It's like horrible. All right, they're brainstorming here. I'm just going to dismiss their hand. I presume that they've brainstormed a couple times. They're probably not holding on to those cards anymore. Okay, they're using Teferi's ability. Can't kill it at instant speed. Okay, Daze is something that pairs with Force if we eventually get rid of Teferi. Not a good draw. They do have Hardcast Force mana up. Maybe we can get them to Force. Counterspell. Okay, let's try again. Okay, Snapcaster comes in. We are going to... I think we hit Brainstorm here. Like, these cards are atrocious. They are going to be able to snap this back. Again, I just want to point that out. Like, I'm well aware of that, and it is devastating, but what can we do? All right. So, I don't think there's any way we can win this. We can, yeah, I'm just going to concede. Like, save clock. They are ahead on clock because I'm talking through my lines and stuff. Let's go ahead and go to the subsequent round, and I think the sideboarding is going to involve taking... Generally, you don't take out threats in these types of matchups. They just have so much interaction. Well, Kaito is coming in. Kaito is insane here. I think we bring in a Force Negation. We didn't see any red. That doesn't mean they don't have red in their deck. I want to take out the Snuff Outs. Yeah, we'll keep all our threats in. We'll keep our tempo cards in. I would love to just stick Strix after Strix. The good news is we don't need to be ginger with our life total at all. We can go basically all in on getting Death Shadow big. Because the way they're going to win the game is probably like a very late game 4th Aerolingus. Or maybe some sort of, Jace Ultimate or something like that. Like, again, we didn't see red, I don't think. So if they're not playing red, then it could be they just wait till the 11th hour and then they fetch their Volcanic Island so they can cast 4th Aerolingus. Seems like a pretty good hand. Yeah, we got lots of interaction. Death Shadow is not exciting right now, but it will be later. I think we keep and we just plan to Troll Cycle. Borrower's not a great card, but it is a potential win con late game. I'm going to go ahead and chalk this in. And we're going to pass and we'll troll. And I'll just troll and get the other Water Grave. I mean, they could be playing back to basics. Maybe I should just get basics. Oh, they do have red. I forgot about this Thundering Falls. I should have brought in the Pyroblast. That was bad. The Hydroblast, rather. They're keeping. Just going to go ahead and Troll Cycle now. I think we do get these just because we want to reduce our life. Thoughtseize is a great rip. However, I think we Strix this turn. Turn 3 is the scary turn. So next turn, what we can do is we can potentially fetch, get another shock, and deploy both a Death Shadow and we can Thoughtseize to clear the path for it. Kaito is the best draw in the deck. Kaito is also unprismatic endable. It's just like an insane card against them. I'm happy to see Wrath in their deck because it does put cards back into our graveyard where we can retrieve them. If they plow here, this is a 2-for-1. All right, I want to check for back to basics before I fetch. We may be able to make it without basics this game. Actually, I'm going to play this out just in case they do have Spell Pierce. Also, if they're playing Pyroblast, that puts Strix in our graveyard where we can return it. All right, we get to see the full crazy grip. They have freaking Supreme Verdict. They've got Snapcaster Mage. They've got all the answers. My goodness. I think the take here is Snapcaster Mage because it just represents a lot. It's also something we can potentially reanimate later. Supreme Verdict can't be interacted with, sadly. Yeah, there's no point in playing out Death Shadow. It's just going to get plowed. Okay, let's take the snap. Let's go to combat. And I'm just going to pass. I can instep troll. I don't think they are going to even cast back to basics with their mana base like this, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to go get the shock land. Prismatic Ending. I think we let that happen, considering we have lots of other reanimation targets. One thing that's kind of cute that we can do is we can reanimate Snapcaster, and then we can use Snapcaster to reanimate a second time. Let's go and take a look at their hand again. So Prismatic Ending's out of there. They still have double plow. Yeah. Let's go ahead and just get I'll get a basic swamp here so that I'm not completely locked out. And I may just run the Death Shadow out if I don't have anything better to do, which it doesn't look like I do. And then we have Force Negation and we have Brazen Borrower. Brazen Borrower can also beat face a little bit, but I think they're probably going to remove it. Hardcast Force Negation is definitely on the menu right now. If they draw another land, then I'll never really be able to play out more than one card. I think we could just Force Negation this, just for the value. Because I'm not sure that they're going to play anything that I can force next turn. This might be loose, but it does deny them some card quality here. Okay, that is totally, predictable. There's one less card, so they have Supreme Verdict and one unknown. It's going to be really hard to beat them through combat, that's for sure. But that's how we have to beat them. Actually, you know what? Dodges Supreme Verdict. I'm actually going to play this so I can just fetch the island later. Kaito beats Supreme Verdict. Kaito's not a creature when they're able to cast it, unless they have Teferi out. Triumph. This is fine. We can just borrow it back, and then later we can actually cast Borrow on the same turn cycle here. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. And then if they have a blast, that's fine. I'm going to hit them, which does require us getting off of the ability to fetch, but I'll just go get my island now. If they had a red blast, I would have used it on the front side of this. Let's bring it out. We can get one connection with it. Every little bit of life total matters. Okay, we drew another fetch anyway. So we do have Hardcast Troll, and we have 2 trolls left in our deck. I'm going to play this land out just in case it's consequential. I think it's likely that they just plow. Triumph is going to be really hard for them to get rid of. Like, they'll have to draw exactly Brainstorm, and they've already used one of them. They could set it up. It is really good against us if they do set it up. That's fine. So it's a 2-for-1, kind of like a virtual 2-for-1, since the Triumph is now stuck in their hand. Not lands. Thoughtseize. I'll take it. Gets our life total lower. All right. Wow. Well, Snapcaster is going to be the target here. Double Supreme Verdict. I think the only way we win is that we somehow don't get... yeah, I'm glad we took that. So Reanimate's a very live draw. Okay, this is a daze from me, brah. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and float a blue, and then I'm going to daze using this mana, because I want this back in my hand so I can shock myself a little more. It's also worth noting that the clocks are getting kind of low, and this Game 3 is going to be really long if we get to Game 3. I'm not thinking we're likely to get to Game 3 with the composition of their hand. I would love to rip a Brainstorm here so I can put these lands back. That'd be by far the best draw on the deck. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. I think we just hold this land for Brainstorm fodder. As long as they don't hit lands, if they keep breaking on lands, then we're in an okay spot. They didn't brick on lands, and Lorien Revealed is looming. I do have a daze for Lorien Revealed. Okay, Brainstorm. We got it. We got there. Please don't force this. What do you know? All right, so these lands are going back 100%. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the Brainstorm. I'm going to get the Watery Grave, and I'm going to Thoughtseize them. Black, let's Thoughtseize ya. I think we take the Lorien Revealed. They may cycle Lorien Revealed in response. That's what I would do. Because they can... Oh, okay. Huh. I don't think we start working through these Supreme Verdicts. Because if they want a Supreme Verdict, they're kind of 2-for-1ing themselves. We could put Triumph in the graveyard and then reanimate it later, but they can potentially bounce it. Yeah, I'm gonna take Triumph because they can Hardcaster next turn and it's nightmarish for us. Now we're gonna go ahead and play this out, and next turn they can just Supreme Verdict it away. That's okay. Drawn Wild here. Kaito is the best card in the deck. Reanimate. So I don't want them to just Supreme Verdict away. I'm gonna just keep one threat on the table at a time, but I am gonna try to reanimate the Triumph probably. No, wait, I'll reanimate Troll because I don't want to risk them bouncing. And I actively don't want lifelink. Prismatic Ending. That's a 2-for-1. Okay, this is a bad draw. We could hold up Force on top of Reanimate. I think that's okay. What do we want to get back? I think I'm going to get their Snap. And then I'll just Snap. And then Thoughtseize too. So we know they have double Supreme Verdict. So this, let's get their other Snapcaster. Pay black. Now, I think what we want to do is get Brainstorm here. Rather than Thoughtseize. Death Shadow. It's a good draw. We can put back the Shadow for this turn, and we can waste them off white, and they may not be able to Supreme Verdict. We took their Lorien Revealed. Okay, so I'm going to put back... We haven't played a land this turn, right? Let's just double check that. Oh, we did. We played a Polluted Delta. That was dumb. Yeah, well, I'm going to put this back, and I think I'm going to put this back. Now we'll pass. They're going to Supreme Verdict. We'll waste them, and then we will play a Shadow, and hopefully that gets there. I should have probably kept Force in hand, just in case we need it. Supreme Verdict can't be countered, of course, but yeah, because if they Teferi here, it's absolutely devastating. Yep, there's the Supreme Verdict. So that's just one of their 2 Supreme Verdicts. They still have one. They also are very close to being able to cast Triumph. I think we need to shuffle... Oh, let's see. Yeah, we need to shuffle these away because Wasteland is not good enough anymore. I'm looking specifically for Thoughtseize. Strix is not bad. I'm going to start by pondering. Daze doesn't do it. Wasteland, we waste them off of White Source. It's possible they don't have another Tundra in their deck. I am going to go ahead and deploy the Death Shadow here. And then next turn I can deploy more stuff. This is going to take 2 swings. Do they have another Tundra? They may have Meticulous Archive. That's probably what they're going to get. Yep. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to win. I wasn't plussed about this matchup. As I mentioned in the deck tech, like Swords to Plowshares is just insane against this deck because it's so powerful. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and Verdict here. That's fine. We're going to try to rebuild with our Strix. We can still draw into another... let's ponder first. These cards aren't good enough. Daze is not bad, but we already have one. Brainstorm does get us a card deeper. I'm going to take the Brainstorm. We're looking for another Shadow, probably. Wasteland's fine. So I think what we do is we put these 2 back. We'll draw one. I'm going to waste off of white. Now I'm going to go ahead and play this. We're going to draw another Daze, and we're going to pass. We're drawing another Daze for next turn. So, but if we've kind of managed to keep their mana in a situation where they can't do a lot, though, which is good. And this deck can win very explosively. Even though this game is long, we may still be able to win if we can win this game. Brainstorming, I'm going to let that happen. They're going to be able to put Triumph on top. Oh, yeah. We'll have double Daze for it. It's not great. Red Elemental Blast is fine. That's a 2-for-1. Okay. So we draw Daze. I'm just going to pass with Hardcast Force up. I think I will Hardcast Force if they attempt to do it here. And then I have double Daze if I need it. They're brainstorming again, which is okay. Okay, wow. They're not deploying her. Interesting. I think it's highly likely they have removal. I'm just going to play this out. It's too good to ignore. I have Force to protect it. This is a Daze. And just like that, this game went from pretty much unwinnable to, you know, not too bad. I'm going to go ahead and do the emblem here. So I haven't dealt any combat damage. Let's pass. I could have surveilled. Maybe actually surveilling was better. Note that I am holding the... I think I do have like one Brainstorm left in the deck. Actually, I've got like two, I think. This is a Force. All right. We've gotten through a lot of their blasts. Not sure how many they have left. I'm in a hurry, so I'm not going to count. Death Shadow. Let's go ahead and attack first. Attack for 4 here. I'm going to go ahead and use the Surveil trigger. These are both excellent cards. I'm just going to keep them. Draw a card. I'm going to go ahead and ponder here. Looking for Force. Force, it is. Bowmasters is also quite nice. If we draw the Force, we have Hardcast Force up. I'm just going to pass with Hardcast Force up. I'll play Death Shadow later. They're going to have a difficult time getting rid of this. Lorien Cycling's fine. So they're getting rid of what's her name? By doing that, she's definitely not on their deck unless she's in hand. Teferi is going to be hardcast or hard forced. 4th, I'm just going to force this. Mystic Sanctuary to probably put it back on top. What are they targeting? Yep. 4th on top. We would have died there, by the way, if we hadn't kept up force because we're at 2. So we are going to be dead here. Let's go ahead and ponder first. Another Force, I think, seals the deal because they're drawing. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and attack. And then I'll just use the Surveil trigger ability. I could have plussed and then had a 2-turn clock, actually, because I think we're only hitting them for 4 here. Yeah, I think I made a misplay. Let's go ahead and Surveil here. And this will be on top. Okay, now we pass with another Hardcast Force up. We actually had the mana. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. No, we didn't have the mana to do other things. They'll probably play around Daze. Okay, they're keeping Pyroblast mana up. That's not good. Yeah, if they have Pyroblast, we're dead. Yeah, oh, they're Hellbent, so they don't have it. So we win. Like, we can just plus this, and we can attack. And I mean, they could draw something, but yeah. Actually, we had Bowmaster, so they were definitely dead. Okay, wow, that was fun. That was very interactive. Chess match of a match. Hydroblasts are coming in. Borrower's still... I mean, Borrower wasn't terrible there. I think Daze comes out. I don't know. Daze was good. They have a lot of non-basics, which I think is good. You should play with tons of non-basics. I think Jeskai players make the mistake of playing way too many basics. I don't think it's a winning strategy. Pretty much everything in our deck is good, except these Death Shadows are not spectacular. And it should be pretty obvious why they're not great. But they are something that beats face. Yeah, I'm genuinely not sure where to cut. I mean, like, it's 100% the Death Shadows. It's such a terrible card against them. My goodness, like, it dies to, like, most of the removal spells in their deck. You can never have more than one out. I'll keep one in. Also, like, going low on life was very risky there. Death Shadow never connected. I had it in my hand. Like, I didn't even cast it out because I didn't have the mana. Ironically, like, it's a 1-drop. The whole appeal of the card is just 1 mana. Sorry, I'm not going to trash it too much, but I am going to board it out. Actually, since we're low on time, I'm going to... Oh, it's too late. It's already submitted. I was thinking, actually, Death Shadow is a really good way to win the game really quickly. This is not a keep. We have 4 minutes. We're going to play aggro. This troll hand does do what we need it to do. I'm going to put back... a Hydro. I think it's probably like a later game thing. Okay. All right. Just going to pass with the ability to potentially Brainstorm Force, but usually their critical turn is 3. Oh, I should have freaking Thoughtseized. I do think it's good to troll here, but I think Thoughtseized would have been better. Let's get the Underground Sea. I'm not going to shock myself. I don't think there's a good reason to. We're going to go get another Underground Sea here. I'm pretty confident they don't have back to basics, and since they basically didn't play maybe more than one basic the entire game last turn. All right, so I'm going to start by Thoughtseizing them just to get some more information. And then, okay, they're interacting. Fish an island. You're going to probably brainstorm away some of their removal or something. They're just countering it. That's fine. Okay, I'm going to play this out, and I'm going to pass with the ability to end step brainstorm, which I'm not going to do unless I'm in an absolute desperate situation. 3 minutes on the clock. Reanimate is a great card if we can find it. They don't have white mana yet. Okay, now they have white mana. Ponder. All right, upkeep. Troll. I'm going to go ahead and start by brainstorming. If they pyro this, that's okay. We're going to put back some of these lands for sure. I'm going to play this out. I think we go ahead and shuffle, and then we ponder and we try to find a reanimate. Because like an early reanimate is a way we can kind of steal a game. I'll just take a swamp here. Let's ponder. Force. It's not a bad card by any means. I think we actually do take the force, and then we can troll cycle. Because I don't want to draw those other cards. Yeah, we're like really slow here. Like we're definitely giving them time to develop like Teferi and other crazy cards. Yep, that is going to be forced. You can't mess around with that. And if they pyro here, it's going to be very sad times. They're forcing back. Okay, so we're getting something. Tamio. Okay, so the real question is, are they going to minus? If they minus immediately, that's good for us because that means we might be able to still hit them with troll. If they plus, then I'm really scared. Okay, well that sucks. They have a pretty strong wall up against our attacks. Let's go and swamp cycle. It's notable that Teferi can't bounce our planeswalkers. Let's grab this, I guess. Only swamp left in my deck. Death Shadow. Let's go ahead and play this out. Yes, I would like to pay the life. I'm going to go ahead and blue-black. Strix. Thoughtseize. I think that's better than playing the second Strix out. Supreme Verdict. I'm glad I didn't play the Strix out. They've got a dead hand, basically. I am going to go ahead and play this out. No, it's still dead. It's dead. Oh, that was so bad. That was so bad. Time pressure. I'm going to blame that on time pressure. Oh, no. Yeah, that's what happens when you put a 0/0 creature onto the stack, isn't it? So we know they still have their, they revealed their hand, and I think it was a Valk. No, it was a Valk. So we know they have Valk in hand. I'm not sure what they're doing here with their mana. Oh, they're Sanctuarying, and they're putting Supreme Verdict back on top, probably. Force, maybe? I'd be less concerned about Force. Oh, they're just putting like a Ponder on top, okay. I should be F6 here. Yeah, I would say the likelihood of us winning with a Teferi with 5 loyalty on it is extremely low. But if we just rip Kaito, we're back in business. Kaito, please. Bowmasters, not bad. Let me go ahead and play him first. I'm going to go ahead and play this out first. I don't think we hold back. I don't think we have the luxury of doing that. They're powering that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and attack Teferi. And then I'm going to Bowmaster. They have one card in hand, and I'm pretty sure it's Valk. 1 minute, 5 seconds on the clock. I'm not hopeful. F6ing. F6ing through their turn. Show me the Supreme Verdict, and I will concede. If they drew a Brainstorm, it would be foolhardy to cast it. Now we have Force, but we don't have a blue card, so I'm going to be F6ing again. F6. 55 seconds. Can we get, gosh, like 6 attacks? This is over. Yeah, good games. All right, let's go ahead and go to, I do think that if we had more time, maybe we had a chance, but this is just like pretty much the nightmare matchup. Death and Taxes is also really rough. Yeah, Death and Taxes might be even rougher than this. But there is a reason why this isn't a widely played deck, and it's not just because I'm making bad plays. Although, to be fair, I did make some bad plays there. Like, it's hard to argue with putting a card from your hand directly into your graveyard as being a good play, unless you're intentionally doing that as part of some broken strategy. We're not trying to be broken. We're a fair deck. We're just trying to shred combo decks. Let's pair into some combo decks, please. Don't pair me against fair players. Round 4, we're 1-2. We are up against an unknown opponent. We are on the draw. We have a double force hand with Thoughtseize, with Wasteland. I like this combo shredder hand. We could just have the bad matchup. I'm going to go for it. We're going to go ahead and do what our deck does. No, we're going to get the Underground Sea to hide information. We're going to be doing a lot of damage to ourselves through these Thoughtseizes, and this could be Delver. Okay, wow. Wow. They do have a Wasteland. They have... This is like the all-in blue-green Delve deck. I don't think they have any removal in the entire deck. I think this actually might be a decent matchup. Hooting Mandrills does come out for 1 mana. I mean, we can easily beat it in combat. We could just leave them with these Lorien Reveals. I'm not worried about Hooting Mandrills killing us. I'm worried about Murktide killing us. We have another Thoughtseize, though. They are going to be able to build out their mana base over the next few turns with these Lorien Reveals. It's going to take time, but they will be able to do it. If we take this, then we waste another land. I don't think that's the name of the game. I think we'll just take the Murktide. Yeah. It's not like a stellar hand that they have there. This is a deck that I've never even actually played against before. I played it a little bit on Cockatrice just to see how it played, and it didn't play very well. Interesting. They went for the basic island. Okay, now they're going to go... Are they going to just play on basics here? Okay, they got a Trop. Okay, they're wasting us, which is fine. This does fill up their graveyard for Hootie, but I'm just going to force Hootie. I think at this point, it's fine. Yeah, I'm just going to go Underground Sea, and then I'm going to Ponder. And yeah, I mean, it's possible that they rip. I want to be able to Thoughtseize next turn. Yeah, I'm just going to do it this way. And probably I'll just pitch Force to Force on Hootie. Slow him down. These are great. We'll take the Brainstorm now. I don't want to put back any of the cards in our hand. We've actually got a really solid hand in my opinion. So they're going to go Lorien Revealed again. Okay. So they now have 5 cards in their graveyard and they can cast Hootie, which I will force. The other alternative is I don't force it and I just put this Strix out and they don't have removal on their deck. So when their Hootie crashes in, they... are they exiling their entire graveyard? They need to pay 1 more, right? It's only 5 Delve. Okay, yeah, they exile their entire graveyard. They kept blue up, which is fine. So I'm just going to play my Strix, and it'll be a 2-for-1. Because, again, I don't think they have any removal in a pure blue-green deck. I'm just going to go ahead and get an island here. Yeah, because I've got lots of cards, and I don't want to shock myself just in case, because they are going to be dealing a lot of damage to us. So this is Trample, but, okay, there's the 3rd land. So now I'm probably going to have to go get the shock land. But I can bring it in tapped and step. Okay, Hedge Maze. Surveilling. Like, their deck just isn't going to function. They're not going to fill up their graveyard fast enough to be able to keep up with my interaction. They're not even attacking. This is great for us. So we do have the ability to, like, draw like a Snuff Out later. We can't attack them, but it's not a big deal. I'm going to go ahead and Brainstorm now. I'm going to play the land first because I definitely want to... I'm not in the business of... wasting them at all, I don't think. All right. Borrower's pretty sick here. Death Shadow is fine if they attack us. Yeah, I think I put back the Wasteland. I don't think that's good here. And because almost everything in their spell deck is like 1 or 2 mana. There's like a this Yavimaya card that makes all our lands green, and then they play they may be playing Up the Beanstalk, but I'm going to stop Up the Beanstalk on the stack. I'm trying to think of what else it makes. I don't want to put back this. I think I'm going to put back this Shadow for now. We don't need it immediately. We could pivot into it. I don't think it's necessary. All right, and now I'm just going to go ahead and... I could just bounce this back to hand But they made Daze. Daze would be a card that would be in their deck. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at their hand again. Their Lorien revealed. Okay, that's the last Lorien revealed. So we're going to get to see all new cards here. Mystic Sanctuary. Okay. Lorien revealed again. Okay, so they drew all 4 of them. All right, well, Wasteland is definitely not going to be good here. So I'm glad I'm shuffling that away. And they have 4 freaking lands. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I think we just chill. Like, they are going to get into... They have Mystic Sanctuary, so we'll have to stop the Lorien revealed. We don't have anything in our graveyard to target yet, do we? We haven't trolled or anything? No. So we're just going to chill. Okay, they're brainstorming, which is fine. They're going to be able to put back these lands. I don't think it's worth trying to force a brainstorm. If I had like some other form of interaction, I would use it here, but... Okay, and they're continuing to be squeamish. All right, I'm going to go ahead and fetch the shock land now, and I'm just not going to... I'm going to leave it tapped. Because I want to have lots of life to reanimate a troll if we draw it. I think we just chill. Huh, it might be good to brainstorm here. Yeah, if I can find the troll, I want to use it. Snuff out. Not terrible. Okay, I think I'm going to put these reanimates back. Since we're not going to use them this turn, and I'm going to just play another one of these. And now I can start attacking them. Snuff out is like just... Oh, Daze. Yeah, I can just reanimate it next turn. So I'm not going to attack them. They're fetching. Probably putting Mystic Sanctuary on top. Oh, yeah, there it is. They're going to put Lorien Revealed on top. I really want to find a Bowmaster. That would be insane here. They put Brainstorm instead of Lorien Revealed. Why? Maybe they are really afraid of Daze. Right, so I'm just going to reanimate my Strix. Let's see if we can get some motion over there. If they have like a force up. And if they do force, it's okay. I'll just reanimate it next turn. Okay, we get a draw. It's another reanimate. I can't attack. I'm just going to attack. I've got lots of interaction up. Now that we know that they play Daze, it does make things a little simpler because we can just chill and be patient. These Strixes are incredible against their deck. Because that makes Hoodia one-shot. The Murktide can't even get through. I genuinely don't know how they beat us. How they beat us is like a cocky like I'm getting now. That's fine. Blue-green is never going to be a viable color combination, in my humble opinion, just because decks do need to play removal. Up to Beanstalk. This is a force. I think it's a force pitch force. This is like what the deck does. Basically, they get this on the table. Force negation. All right, well, I definitely don't want this to work. We stopped that. We stopped that. Okay, good. We paid a very high price. Let's see what we draw here. Ponder. I'm going to go ahead and ponder now. See if I can find a troll. I find a Bowmasters, which is good. I don't think Snuff Out is... How badly do we want this Bowmasters? I think I'm going to Bowmasters now, and then if they counter it, then I can just reanimate it next turn. Got this reanimate just chilling here. I want to lock off their cantrips. If they... Yeah. And now we can go ahead and attack them in the air for 1, and we're just going to chip them. It's going to be a long, grindy chip away process. We just have to keep... Yeah, I mean, we can't even really attack with these, unfortunately. I can clear the way with Snuff Out. I just don't want to do that yet. They have a lot of good top decks in the form of Beanstalk. Beanstalk being just phenomenal if they find it. Murktide looks like is what they're finding right now. Yep, really happy I stopped that Beanstalk. Okay, they're attacking. This is great for us. I'll take the 3. If I find a land, I can just Snuff Out. I think I'm just going to reanimate Baleful Strix. Thoughtseize is not good. We're just going to chill. Once we get enough mana, we can snuff that out and we can start attacking. But we just have to wait. Like, Bowmaster does shut off a lot of what their deck can do. Our Death Shadow is pretty big. I think I'm going to drop it. This can beat Murktide in combat. They are forcing. That's fine. We're just going to wait. I genuinely think if we're patient, there's no way we can lose. So if we lose, I'll be just completely stunned. They may have like Brazen Borrower. Again, I mentioned that there's this card called Submerge that they could be playing that triggers Beanstalk and it's kind of pseudo removal. Troll. Just going to go ahead and get the land now. I'm just going to get a swamp here. I'll pass. Once we get rid of this, I think they may only have like 8 threats in their deck. All right. Daze is not a great card. I'm just going to go ahead and go for this. So we can see if we can get an attack in. They could Daze it again. Yeah, they are going to also be able to pick up a card. That's unfortunate. We just have to work through these. Like, I don't want to wait around until I draw a land. Misdirection. By all means, there is no legal target. There is no other legal target. Ha 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 ha. Yes! Snuff Out's inability to hit black creatures was a massive asset there. Look at that. I don't think they can redirect it to any non-black creatures. Now they're dazing. Okay, well that interesting. I can't do anything about this. All right, we learned something new. Unfortunately, we still didn't kill their Murktide, so we have to wait for a few more turns. We'll try again next turn. We got through a daze that they could have just dazed it. We have a chance to draw Surveil. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they may be able to get like, okay, that is fine. I'll grow my army. They Surveil to Consider into their yard. They're replaying their Mystic Sanctuary. I'm not sure what they can get here that's good because Lorien Reveal does damage to them. Yeah, I mean, you can get that. It does grow your Murktide, which is not consequential when I've got a bunch of blockers. If they have some way like a Berserk type effect, that would win, where they can give... Okay, they conceded. Wow. All right. I'm excited I get to feature this deck on the channel. I don't think it's good, but I think it is interesting. Misdirection is cool tech. I haven't seen that in Legacy in forever. All right, so Kaito comes in for sure. Kaito's great. Dismember does hit the thing, but we don't really want to be paying life. Yeah, I mean, there's just not a lot to bring in. I think Kaito does come in, though, since this is clearly like a control matchup. I think Daze comes out on the draw. I don't think anything else is necessarily bad here. I think Troll Reanimate is still a viable path to victory. Dismember does hit their thing, but like, yeah, I don't want to be paying that much life to kill, you know, a 1-drop basically. The Hootie, as I like to call him, Hootie. So fun to say. I can understand why the terrible band Hootie and the Blowfish named themselves that. It's just fun to say. And by the way, I don't mean to offend any Hootie and Blowfish fans out there, but yeah, it's not my it's not my jam. Okay, so here we go. Double Death Shadow, Force. We've got the land. We've got Orchestra Master. I think this is a keep. Okay. Island. Okay. I think we go ahead and shock this in and we just... Well, they play Daze. I think I'm just going to play the Underground Sea and see what happens here. Because I do want to be able to force. We're just going to take it slow. What is it? Like, your power does nothing here or something like that in this realm. There's like some classic line that I'm butchering. You have no power here. Something like that. Beanstalk. I'm going to force this. I think Brazen Borrower sticks around because Brazen Borrower does do cool stuff. Okay, good. Yeah, you have to stop the force. That is just like table stakes, in my opinion. Another land would be good. A Daze is great. I am going to pay, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and do this now because I want to lock them out of their cantrips and because I have a Daze. So if they force or Daze or do anything here, which first of all, they should have done that on. If they have force, they should have used it to keep their Beanstalk around. But now we've locked them out of what their deck does, which is draw cards. They have to draw a bunch of cards and get those cards in their graveyard so they can cast Hootie and Murktide. Wasteland. Tragic. This is delving for Xaxes. I don't want to die to this. I'm just going to attempt to counter. Okay. Okay, Wasteland is a card we can kind of just play out. We're not in Death Shadow range. I don't want to get wasted again. There is the option of just wasting them. They didn't play a land that turn. I think I'm going to waste them and I'm just going to start attacking. This may be a little bit cavalier, like because we are favored as the game goes on. But I don't want to play this out and get wasted myself. And if they have to like brainstorm or ponder to try to find a land drop, that plays into our Bowmaster plan. Okay, they did have another land. I'll invoke the common saying, when two players are wasting one another, somebody's usually doing something wrong. I'm going to play this out untapped. And I'm going to attempt to ponder here. And if they daze this is totally fine. I just want to find another land drop. I will probably take a Wasteland if it's one of the top 3 cards, just because it's a known land rather than shuffle, because when I get Troll, I can just cycle. I'm not going to take any of these. I'm looking for land. Another Ponder would be nice, but I could be wasted. Okay. So as long as they don't waste this exact turn, we do have Troll to get us another land. They're fetching. Probably getting a Surveil. We're at 15 life. Double Death Shadow in the hand. I mean, like, Gutshot. Interesting tech. Yeah, that works. Now they can start pondering and cantripping and finding a Wasteland for our Watery Grave. Lorien Revealed. That's relieving, because that means they're probably not going to be playing a Wasteland this turn. Beanstalk. Oh, Murktide. Yeah, that is not the most terrifying. It's a 5/5, first of all. I control. I can't get to Death Shadow life. Oh, yeah. So I'm just going to troll here, and I'm going to have to let them hit me. I'm going to get an Underground Sea here, though, instead of, because I'm pretty certain they're going to hit me here. And then I can just drop double Death Shadow, and they won't be able to win through that. Is it correct to get a Swamp instead at this point? I think it is correct to get a Underground Sea just so they can't waste me off my colors. And I'm going to play it, and I'm going to pass. Next turn, we have the option of double Death Shadowing, which I think will end the game. They can hit us to 10, and then we have double Death Shadow, and then they just can't attack anymore, and our Death Shadows are bigger than their... No, wait. Our Death Shadows are not necessarily bigger, but they won't be able to attack for a few turns. They have no way to summon a Hootie or a second Murktide at this point. The greedy play is to go ahead and ponder and try to find an answer here, like an additional land. I do want to do that. They have 3 cards in hand. I think it's quite likely they have a daze. If they daze one of these, it's not the end of the world. If they force here, I'd be thrilled. Yes, that's fine. Okay. Now we're just going to go ahead and play this out. See if they daze. We have another one if they do. They do daze. Okay. Actually, we're in trouble now. Next turn, we do need to successfully resolve Brazen Borrower, because they hit for 5, and then so they're going to be able to surveil something into the yard. They'll almost certainly put something in the yard. So Brazen Borrower actually only answers this for 1 turn. If we can get the Shadow down, though, and Borrower, so basically we need them not to have days or we lose. Consider. That's fine. Okay. And I just want to check the log and confirm that they are... They topped, so it could be a force. That would be a card that they would keep. Okay. Can we borrow this back to hand? If we borrow it back to hand and they have daze or force, that is the game. Okay, troll. I'm going to troll cycle first. There's no reason to wait. I'll just get a swamp. We're going to do this now. If they have the daze, that's the game. They do. Okay, we lost. Yeah, I didn't expect to lose that one. But we're going to be on the play this third game. I'm not sure where things went wrong. I do think we absolutely needed to double force that Beanstalk. It could be that like some of my plays were a little over aggressive. We didn't have a lot of mana that game. It's worth noting Dismember would have actually dealt with the resolved dude. But Snuff Out's so much cleaner, and it always deals with the Murktide, whereas this conditionally deals with the Murktide. I think we bring our Dazes. Do we bring our Dazes back in on the play? I think we do. I think I'm going to take out some Forces. I know that like going down on Force does make us a little bit more vulnerable to them doing splashy stuff with like Beanstalk, but I think that this is okay. I'm gonna live in this world. Engineered Explosives is terrible against their deck. It can only hit Beanstalk and only after Beanstalk is resolved. Surgical, you just never want to bring that in against non-graveyard decks. It's almost always a mistake to do so. Force Negation is worse than Force. Doesn't hit creatures. Okay, the hard cast ability is probably not relevant. We never had the mana to do so. Just spewing out random thoughts. It seems like a snap keep with the double Baleful Strix hand. I'm going to keep. All right, so we don't have any initial tempo here. We can start shocking lands. I think that's actually totally fine. Wasteland. Okay, now I'm tempted to just go get the swamp here. Let's take a draw. I'm not allergic to getting lands. That does increase our likelihood of getting lands, and sure enough, we do get a land. They don't have Days Up, so I'm going to be able to stick this Strix, and I don't think there's really anything they can do about Strix. Okay. 2 for 1. Confirmed. All right, we've got lots of stuff coming. We can start fetching our shock lands if we want, so we can get a bigger Death Shadow. All right, so options. We can just brainstorm Incept next turn. I do want to get the other Strix on the table with Daze Protection. They have Gutshot in their deck, which is absurd, in my humble opinion. It's like a terrible card, but it does make sense if you don't have any other removal. It is a removal spell. It's just like a laughable, like, I'll do 2 damage to myself, and I'll do 1 damage to your creature. Yeah, I think we chill. We can go get the shock land, and then we can also troll for another shock land, and we can start getting Thoughtseize. Mill 2 cards, sure. You get to draw a card. So they're loading up their graveyard for a potential card that's just going to die to Strix. All right, green manifests itself. Do they have the Beanstalk? They do. I don't think it's worth brainstorming here. Sadly, I think they're just going to get card advantage. This is a window for us to go ahead and get Troll online, and I'm going to do it. Oh, Stifle. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. We have lots of other ways to get stuff onto the table here. I think we can go ahead and troll now, and then we can get the shock land. They do have a wasteland. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and troll while they can't do anything about it. Get the shock. We're going to shock. Like the pay. I can just play around days. I can just ponder here. I think that's fine. And then try to find a force. These are good cards. Actually, I think Thoughtseize is totally fine. It advances our plan. I think Borrower is fine too. I'm going to keep that in the pile. And if they daze this, it's fine too. Let's Thoughtseize first. Make sure they don't have some hasty beat that's going to own us. Okay, well, True Name Nemesis is pretty damn good against us. Yeah, wow. True Name Nemesis infinitely walls. Death Shadow too. If they get another Beanstalk on the table, we're going to be in really big trouble. I mean, sadly, I think we need to take the True Name Nemesis just because we can't answer it. We're going to take so much damage from it. That is a way that they can win. Let's think. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to race them. Like, even with the Death Shadow, we could just park the Death Shadow and then they can never attack with the True Name Nemesis. Okay, call me crazy, but I am thinking that we take the Beanstalk here. Because it's going to spiral. And if they spend a turn playing True Name Nemesis, that's okay with me. I know that we have Bowmasters. I totally understand, but we just can't. Okay, here's the brainstorm. True Name Nemesis, or Bowmasters will be great against a lot of other things. We're overloading their gut shots. I don't want them to keep drawing to gut shots and then being able to just gut shot all our creatures and get through. As long as they don't get to gut shots, they're not going to be able to win. I don't think that True Name Nemesis is a winning proposition unless they have a second one. Here's the TNN. All right, Ponder's a good rip. We knew about that. I think I am going to go ahead and Ponder first. If I can find a force, that's great. I do find a force. So I think what we do is we take the force here, and then we can force through a Bowmasters. I'm just going to attack with both of these. After their attack, I can deploy a Death Shadow. I just want to see if I can get them into a situation where they're going to like brainstorm or something. They did already use their brainstorm. Okay, we're taking 3. Okay, this looks like a Murktide. Let's go ahead and jam first. I don't care about the actual Murktide. I care about the triggers. Because I can snuff out the Murktide with Death Shadow out. I will force if they force. They do have the ability to borrow this back with the triggers on the stack. I would probably force that too. Because Borrower is also going to be like a potential win con. This is scary because they daze me. They're dazing a second time. I am going to force. Now they can borrow it out of play. Okay, they're choosing not to borrow it out of play. Maybe they're going to borrow the actual Orc Army out of play. They're milling themselves, and they're going to draw a card, which is going to ping them yet again. Bold strategy, Cotton. They could have just bounced this out of play. Maybe they're afraid. Like, if I had a daze, I would have, not forced there. I would have dazed. Actually, that wouldn't have been able to work because they had mana up. Okay, now they're going to bounce that token out of play. That's fine. I did get 3 pings. So I could just bounce this, but that's not actually very useful. I think we snuff first, and then we shadow. I want to make sure the shadow resolves, because if the shadow doesn't resolve, then snuff is no good. Okay, let's go ahead and go to combat here. I'm going to attack with everything. They can attack, but they're dead on the backswing if they don't keep this up. They have this to play out of hand. They have, I think, like 2 or 3 lands in hand. Okay, they're wasting. I'm going to float. They could certainly have another daze. I think it's worth going ahead and sticking this just because it's an additional threat. And now I've overloaded their blocking. They're forcing. They get a draw trigger. That does ping them. It's a forced block here. And we're hitting them for 4. So they can flash this in and hit us for lethal next turn. I don't think they have removal, but if they have another borrower, that is that. I think we need to adopt a defensive position here. They have 1 unknown and probably a land in hand, and then they're going to play this out in step. I think holding the card is better. Yeah, because I need to keep this up as a threat so they can't attack in. I'm gonna walls up. We're not going to attack at all. Because anything we throw out there is going to get run under the bus there. Except for Death Shadow. And if we attack with Death Shadow, the problem with Death Shadow is it's just going to get blocked. It's not going to die, but then we don't have it back to threaten the subsequent turn. I think that's correct. Because as long as they have this in the air. I mean, I could have attacked these, and they would have had to block the Shadow, and then we would have gotten 2 damage. So I do think I made a misplay there. Because we could have chipped 2 life off there, and they would have had to block the Shadow. Yeah, that was a bad attack. Or a bad lack of attack, rather. Okay, that takes some life if they want to do it. All right, so this time I think I've learned I am going to just attack. Another Bowmasters is great. We could just go ahead and Bowmaster this. Is there an opportunity for us to do that after combat? I want to make sure that this resolves. I'm a coward. Either way, if they force, like they're losing their borrower. So now they could have a borrower that they're flashing in here, but I'm pretty sure we're cool to just attack with these and do some damage. I'm trying to think of what they could have here. Yep, they're going to take 3. Card draw kills them, basically. We have 1 unknown in hand. They have 3 unknowns in hand. Gutshot would be not enough. They had like triple Gutshot, but I'm pretty sure they have at least 1 land in hand with all the dazing they did. All right, we did it with Death Shadow. We're 2-2. Let's go to round 5, and let's see whether we can clinch the positive record with this modern deck. We're up against, I think, the current trophy leader, who's almost certainly on Oops or Storm or something like that. We have a Force of Will hand. We don't have any follow-up. We don't have any land. I'm not going to keep this. We're on the play, so I don't need to keep this. This is better for sure. So we're going to put back Orcish Bowmasters because we can potentially force and then reanimate and kill them. That's sketchy. Is that true? Yeah, I think we do. Reanimate is a pretty good card overall. Yeah, I mean, if they're on some Storm deck, I'm not going to be happy that I kept it. I'm going to put it back. Call me a coward. Yep, I'm going to play this and I'll pass. Okay, oops it is. Lotus Petal. They're passing. I'm just going to be patient. Thoughtseize. Oops is not known for playing. We don't have to give away that we're on Death Shadow if we don't want to. I think I'm just going to play this out and I'll pass. And I have Brainstorm and Force Up. And I have Bowmasters. They do nothing and pass another turn. We can at least get a little bit of a clock going. Shocking again. It's interesting they shocked and didn't do anything last turn. Well, this is a force. And I'm going to just pitch the Baleful Strix. If they packed here, I will Brainstorm and try to find a daze. So you always let the pact resolve. Okay, we did find a daze. If this daze works, we're golden. If it doesn't, we're dead. And I don't think it will. They have so many spirit guides and stuff. They do. The spirit guide. We don't actually have an answer for this now that it's out. We could borrow it back to hand. That's like literally the only thing we can do. I do want to go ahead and shuffle these bad cards away. What a terrifying deck. Like the fact that we had two pieces of interaction. Whoa, they scooped. Why? Why did they scoop? Okay, well, they don't know anything about our deck. That's really weird. Why would they scoop there? Okay, so we're bringing these in for sure. We're bringing in our Forced Negation. Consigns come in. I mean, Consigns sucks, but like so many of our cards suck against them. Snuff Out comes out. Bowmaster actually doesn't do anything, sadly. Like it seems crazy, but like no, it's a combo deck that doesn't cast Brainstorm or anything. They don't draw a card, so you don't want that. They didn't even ask for us to show them a win con. You don't become a trophy leader by like not giving up. Like you don't become a trophy leader playing like me, basically. I think Death Shadow comes out. It just doesn't matter. And then we bring in all of our blue cards. So Kaito comes in. I mean, it's crazy to bring in a Hydroblast, but I think it's better than a Death Shadow in this matchup. Dismember technically can kill the creature if they get it out, but I feel like that's pretty bad. I think we're going to win through Troll and Reanimate if they make us win. So Bowmaster does apply some early pressure. That's an argument for putting it in. I just can't bring myself to bring a Hydroblast in against a black deck. I just don't understand why they scooped there. Oh yeah, because of the pact. I'm so dumb. Okay, sorry. If you're like watching, like, yeah, because of the pact, they were going to lose to the pact before they could win. That's why. It just didn't register to me. Sorry. You're probably like screaming at me in the comments. Sorry. It's been a long league. So Thoughtseize is still really good because they don't always go for a turn one, but you have to assume they're going to go for a turn one. This hand is insane if they don't go for a turn one. Let's open up the chat log and see. They are keeping 7. This usually tells me that they can just go for it. I'm going to mull. I think we mulligan. Mulligan again. This hand sadly doesn't do anything. I can't keep a no-lander. I've just been burned too many times. Okay, here we go. Keep. Put back 1, 2, 3. We're going to go get an Underground Sea and we're going to Thoughtseize them if we even get a turn. Shocked, so we're dead. Yeah, there's the Thoughtseize. If we're able to Thoughtseize back, then we might have a prayer, but I don't think that that's likely to happen here. Oh, okay, that is what's happening. They took the Thoughtseize. Draw Thoughtseize? No. It sucks that we had to mull so deep because I had 2 Thoughtseize in that hand. But now we know that like they can probably beat They probably can't beat Thoughtseize because they need a turn or two to set up, but they can beat a force. They're shocking. Okay. We know what's going to happen here. Thoughtseize again. Okay. They took the days. So that must mean they're going to win here. Okay. And we'll take a look at their deck before we concede. Yeah, they needed basically their whole hand. They have one card left. Okay, let's take a look at the graveyard. I've been playing against this deck so much lately. Okay. I'm just going to pop it out. We don't even need to let they're the trophy leader. They know how their deck works. Okay. So we can see that they have one Thoughtseize, Duress, two Thoughtseize, three Thoughtseize, two Duress, three Duress, four Duress. Okay. So they're on team discard. They seem to have boarded out the packs. I don't see any packs. This may just be like, for this game. Maybe they board out packs against blue decks. Or if they're on the draw, but they were on the play. Okay. They have a single bridge. Do we see reanimate? Let's look for reanimate. Because sometimes they'll use reanimate. Oh, Shieldred. That's tech. Two Poxwalkers. They don't have the red Spirit Guide. They may have boarded it out. I could have sworn they used a red Spirit Guide last game. There is a reanimate. Okay, so we need to be cognizant of that. Undercity Informer. You have to be very careful when you reanimate. Again, there's a third Poxwalkers. Is that three Poxwalkers? No, it's four Poxwalkers. They've got a lot of Poxwalkers in their deck. And Memory's Journey is certainly in here. Yeah, there it is. Okay, and Jack-o'-lantern. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we should check. I don't think so. I think we just let them go ahead and win. So what they can do is they only need to play one Narcomoeba because they get all the Poxwalkers back. Okay. I'm just going to F6. Let them do it. So they can win through combat if they want to, but they do have a Thoughtseize Oracle, and there's the Dread return. Okay, for Thoughtseize Oracle. Let's just concede. All right. Okay, so we don't really have any changes to make here. I think the key is just not mulling the 4. I didn't see anything that makes me change how I'm doing this. Like I love having Thoughtseize and being proactive. They have 8 ways to win in their deck, and then they have a reanimate, so kind of 9. And they have to figure out a way to punch a hole. I think I'm going to cut this because I really do want to have just maximize blue cards. Yeah, it feels bad. It feels very bad. This hand is insane. It's a pity we don't have a black source. I think I'm going to ponder to try to find a force. I mean, we have Surgical and Thoughtseize and Reanimate. Let's see how low they're mulling. We have to decide first. I think I'm going to keep. Ponder is very likely to find a Daze or a Force. We have 9 counter spells in our deck. We also have a Brainstorm next turn. There may be some next level thing where, okay, we've got a Surgical, so they have to take Surgical. Okay. So we might be able to like tuck interaction on top of our deck in case they have one of their many discard effects. Do we want to do that? Because they will almost certainly take... No, because we have so many... We have a critical mass of cards they have to take. Yeah, so I'm going to take the Underground Sea next turn, and I'll take the Force this turn. I don't think they're going to be able to fight through all this. I hope not. Because what they have to do is they have to stop our Force this turn, which is going to be pitching Kaito. And then they have to stop our Thoughtseize next turn. This is Dark Ritual. This is fine. Shieldred. If we just hit this, then we can reanimate it. That seems pretty good. They did go pretty deep on this one. We could potentially race it with Kaito. I don't think we can race it with anything else though. I think we do have to stop this. Okay, great. So next turn I'm just going to reanimate her. The other option is we could take a turn off to Thoughtseize. I think that's probably safer. But they could just have a bunch of land in hand. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. They do have reanimate. Okay. That's good to know about. I think I'll just take the reanimate and let them have the land. The problem is if I reanimate, then they potentially get to sink into stupor. I could just surgical their reanimate and then reanimate myself, and then I think they're probably dead. They would need to get several things going. Like they need 2 lands. They would also need... Yeah, I think this is fine. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take the sink. Oh, if I surgical, then I can't reanimate that. But I have a troll coming off the top, so I'll just reanimate that instead. They're shocking. Okay. I'm just going to surgical this. They're hellbent. They are drawing live to their spy. I'm going to take a moment to actually look at their deck since we have plenty of time. So 4 spies, 2 therapies, 1 bridge. They still have Dread Return. They have Duress, Fel the Profane, Hydro specific. They've got the Jack-o'-lantern combo still in. They have 1 Narcomoeba, and they have 3 Proxwalkers. They have 3 Thoughtseize Oracles that they can draw off the top. That's an interesting tech. So if they can mill their deck, they may be able to just like play that out of hand, but they're going to need another mana source and something to mill. Or they just need to draw the Undercity Informer. I think this is the 3 mana one. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do another screenshot. Okay. So the reanimate fizzles. I do think we can brainstorm first, because we're going to get a land to reanimate anyway. So we could replace this with like a Daze, maybe, would be good, or a Thoughtseize. No, Thoughtseize will never be good. Okay, Force of Negation is something we can actually cast from a hand, which is great. So I'm going to put these 2 back. Actually, Force of Negation doesn't stop a lot of nasty things. I think we keep the Force in hand. Let's go ahead and cycle. They're going to be dead in 2 hits. So I don't think... no, they're not going to be dead in 2 hits. They're going to be dead in 3 hits. Okay. Pedal. All right. Blue card off the top, please. All right. We got this game, I think. Just going to swing in. There's no benefit to playing out the Strix. If they find a shock land, they've got Duress. It's fine. They can take our Force. They can still win. It's just extremely unlikely. Actually, if they draw it off the top, it is possible. We draw our Hydroblast of all cards. I am going to play the Strix out just because I want to draw to a Force effect. Does nothing in our hand. Reanimate. Is there any target to reanimate? There is not. Yeah, I don't expect them to have a red spell. We could still die here. It would be epic if we died here. It would... Okay, we did it. We got the positive record. Wow, that was rough. That was hard. So if you're wondering whether Death in Shadow is still playable, yeah, it's still playable if you don't punt a lot. Like I punted several times. And I think that there's probably no practical reason to play Death Shadow over just playing ninjas. And so if you look at my ninjas list that I played yesterday, this is the list again. I think Snuff Out is good. Like... Snuff Out was actually amazing, and my takeaway is we probably want to be playing Snuff Out and Ninjas, maybe instead of playing the Murderous Cut, or instead of playing Fatal Push. Because if you think about it, Murderous Cut can hit everything. Yeah, so we could like... I mean, this sounds kind of crazy, but maybe it is crazy to take out the Fatal Pushes in favor of Snuff Out. But like this list is so much tighter. This felt so much better every game. Like I think all this needed is the 4th. If we had the 4th Thoughtseize, then this is like just as much a combo slaying machine as what we're playing right now. You could probably take out like Spell Pierce here. And yeah, you're going to be doing damage to yourself. Maybe Snuff Out isn't correct here. I don't know. So hang on. I'm going to find the conversation that I thought was really insightful from the Death Shadow Discord that inspired me to play this deck. All right. This is the comment from Mr. UC Parker, super chill dude who is like a long time stand for Death Shadow, and he said, if this isn't a Snuff Out meta, I don't know what is. Let's look at this. So, Eldrazi, almost 10% of the meta. Nadu, 6% of the meta. Oops, 6% of the meta. Red Stompy, Cephalid Breakfast, Death and Taxes with Yorion. That's like 4%. Natural Order, which is basically the same deck as the Nadu mid-range combo. They're very similar. That's another 4%. So 10% of the meta is Nadu. And then if you include Breakfast, is like 15% of the meta, right? Stifle Knot also doesn't care about Snuff Out. Jeskai Control, Temur Delver. Literally none of these decks play black creatures. None of them except for Oops All spells. In which case, like, yes, technically you can't kill the Under City Informer if it's with the one with the activation cost. You can't kill that if they somehow manage to play it and need to pass the turn before they have mana to activate it. That's like the literal only instance of a black creature here that you can't kill. So I definitely see what Mr. UC is saying. I think this is like, bam, this is like excellent insight. I'm going to give him some eyeballs and some thumbs and stuff. Okay, so I think the takeaway is that we want to have this going. We want ninjas on, and we probably do want to put Snuff Out in. Snuff Out being free and being like literally any non-black creature, that seems pretty good. Do we want to take out Murderous Cut for it? Murderous Cut is conditional on us having a graveyard. It does cost mana. The problem is we don't want to necessarily play a whole lot of interaction spells in this deck. Yeah, so I'll be brewing on this. I'll probably play this again today. Like, I love the Ninjas deck. I'm not sure about Yuriko. Like, Yuriko is, tough to justify, frankly, but she does combo with Kaito if you have them both on the table and you somehow have already won. Like, I genuinely think you probably just won off Kaito. So this is probably just going to be, blue-black ninja, because it's only one ninja, and we're probably going to kick Yuriko to the curb for the next iteration. But I'm very excited to hear your thoughts on Shadow. Like, was I too rough on this deck, calling it a modern deck? Was I playing it wrong? It's a very hard deck to play. I'd argue it's probably the hardest tempo deck to play because you have to manage your own life total in addition to figuring out how to... And there was like the game against Delver that I punted. This could have been a 4-1 league if I hadn't punted against Delver. There was no way that I was winning against that blue-white value deck, I don't think. But I could have beaten the Delver deck if I had been a little bit more judicious about timing my Brazen Borrower. There's one last thing I'm going to show you. This is Marco Montani's list. Again, like, I hugely look up to this guy. This guy is a legend. And he is the legendary Death Shadow player. He's been playing Grixis. He doesn't even play Magic that much anymore, but he still drops in occasionally. I think he was like European Player of the Year, like a year or two ago. So his list, 18 lands. This is before Baleful, or what's it called, was printed, before Troll of Khazad-dûm was printed. And if you look, he's got 18 lands, so very minimal. He doesn't even play all 4 Wastelands. I think you can justify playing the 4 Wastelands when you're playing the Troll. But he was playing 4 Strix. This was before Bowmaster was printed. He was playing 2 Borrower, 4 Shadow. He was playing Gurmag and Angler instead of Murktide, and one of the reasons is because it doesn't get hit by Snuff Out, and because it just comes out off like a single black mana. You don't have to worry about, like, you can totally win without ever playing an island. But he did play an island in the list. It's interesting he chose to play a single island instead of a single swamp, because all of his creatures get cast off black. I guess that's just because you can Brazen Borrower if they have a Blood Moon in play, and then he's just going like full tempo, 4 Thoughtseize, 4 Snuff Out, 2 Reanimate. Again, like, I think after the printing of Troll, Reanimate is strong, and I think that was the biggest blow to this deck, is the printing of Troll, because people for a while were playing it alongside Death Shadow, and then they realized, I just don't even need to play Death Shadow anymore. Like, I can just get something that's even better if I can get the Troll Reanimate package going. So, and then of course from there people started playing Scam, which was the Grief deck, and that was really powerful, and I played that for a while. And then people started playing Rescaminator, which was just like the ultimate kind of like culmination in this line of tempo. I mean, you could argue it's like the most powerful tempo deck still, even after several bannings that have affected it. 2 bannings, Grief and Psychic Frog. But anyway, if you're wondering why Death Shadow isn't around anymore, it's just kind of like Jurassic Park, like, where did the dinosaurs go? And then you point up at a bird flying in the sky. Oh, all the baby Death Shadow decks, turned into beautiful little Reanimator decks. No, I don't know if it's exactly like that, but like, you can see how the Wizards printing of Troll of Khazad-dûm and ultimately Psychic Frog definitely like started to push it in the Reanimator direction. So I'll leave it at that. This was a blast to record. It was hard to record. And I'm not super proud of my play, but I am very proud to feature this deck on the channel, and especially to lock in a positive record with it. I think this is an important piece of Legacy history right here. Let's get the big guy up on the camera again. Look at that. That's the original art printed in what Worldwake, I think. Yeah, I was playing back then. I stopped for like 15 years, and then I stopped for like another 10 years, basically. And I think I was playing when Worldwake, and then I stopped after that. Back in the era of Jace the Mind Sculptor and stuff like that, the same set Jace came out, and another, kind of archetype defining card. And who knows, maybe Death Shadow will come back. I don't think it's ready quite yet, but please, if you're a Death Shadow player, go prove me wrong. Say, I'm going to show Be Excellent. I'm going to record like a 5-0 league, or I'm going to top 8 a challenge or something with Death Shadow. I would love to see Death Shadow make a resurgence, because it is a fun, interactive, skill-intensive deck. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.